What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. And yes, we were just live, but took a short break because these 6 invitational last chance qualifiers for OCE, they needed some casters, man. We needed to see this game on stream. Otherwise, it was just going to be hanging out in space, and we wanted to be able to bring the game to you. Now, Glitter, you know what? He survived all the way through that best of 3. But Zek, welcome, my friend. You got to do the NA games with us last week. Happy to have you on for this OCE cast as well, my friend.
Yeah, hopped on for the NA cast, for a trio cast, had a lot of fun with you guys, realized I didn't have enough, yanked Glitter over towards the Rocket League scene for his first Rocket League cast, which was quite exciting, and it might have worn him out a little bit too much, to where, I mean, now I'm over here with you on the R6 on your home turf, so, you know, feel free to walk me through it, show me the ropes in this one-on-one.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you being here with us. Now, this is open qualifier number 2, the last opportunity here for the OCE teams to make it in. And APL has got a couple of different ways that they run it. So all of the 4 different regions are having open qualifiers. They go into closed and then into one final APL regional final to determine their last chance qualifier spot. So this is open qualifier number 2, the final game. The winner goes to face Man LFO for that OCE closed qualifier spot. I don't know exactly when that game is going to take place, my friend, but let's take a look at the teams. We get to see 6Targets taking on Team Anios.
Yeah, 6Targets, Team Anios. Really interesting setup that they have here. It's like a multi-regional pulled together for the single region dominator to find out who's going to be moving on. And honestly, with SI on the line, with people sitting here looking at it, these are the top dogs for this area. We have Bale, Nico, Orion, Kin, and Zethi over on one side, and then on the opposite side, Eraser, S.HZ, Wizardry, Pro Zappin, and Chef Jeff. So quite the lineup for both these sides. Don't know a whole lot about these teams other than we know a little bit about 6Targets. They were over there in the Open Qual 1, finished 3rd place. Now here competing for this finalist spot right now. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. And on the other side, Chef Jeff, he's the guy to be looking out for sure. He's a known pro in the scene, but the Australians here doing battle. And we're going to start off on Bank, head to Chalet. Fortress was in the map pool. I was honestly hoping we were going to get a chance to see Fortress. Not today, though, my friend. It is time. We're going to be heading ourselves to Bank. And guess what, my friend? Map is going.
Maps going, bands already fly on through. Who's got the cash? Who's walking away with the secure? Bank is up, ladies and gentlemen, for our kickoff. And this map has been really interesting for me in the transition of the meta and the way that teams are playing this and the way that the aggressiveness has taken hold in Rainbow Six Siege. With the shields, you're moving on through, but the openness of this map has been tried and true from the get-go since its release.
Yeah, for sure. And this is honestly one of my favorite maps. I honestly love Bank. I love that the fact that it's such a big map but has some very small sections in it. It gives big map feel when you're talking about roam game, but small map feel when you get down to that final execute. So 6Targets, Team Anios. Here it is, the last chance qualifier for OCE. It's a best of 3 between these two to decide who goes to closed to take on that team. Now, if we get into this one, I mean, got it. We hopped in just as the bands were finishing up. So Mira and Kaid gone off the board. It's going to make entering there in the basement just a little bit easier for the attackers. And Team Anios wanted to take down Ace and Grim. And honestly, with Ace getting a little bit of a buff on the hard breach side, I think that's a good call.
A lot of the hard breachers saw some really great stuff. Thermite getting his extra charge. Hibana not having to reload either. I'm actually surprised seeing Hibana be allowed through given the hatch game playability. Not to mention ranged hard breach for that upstairs wall. Once you're thinking about Team Anios on defense, having roamers on that second floor, making sure you can blow open that second floor wall on the long hallway is so critical for the rotation, because anybody who's walking through there is going to get picked off easily from that outside window. I'm be watching for the Kalior. In this case, as you can see, the glass picked up by Zethi over here. So no stranger to the long-range play is coming in from 6Targets.
Yeah, I mean, we are still in a DMR meta. It is the age of the DMRs, and I love to see Glass, especially on banks. Tons of utility, even more valuable on the upper floor sites as well. So we'll see whether or not he's devastating and becomes a target ban, a win scenario here for this team. But no way, what a shot through the wall!
Information, man. It's
wow.
that information game. You saw the ping, it was there. And he just was able to go for the pre-fire, shoot through the wall. You, at this level, know exactly where the doorways are, where the windows are, so it's like, cool. I know he's there, line up for the right angle, and get that opening pick, and look at that, 6 targets, they got man advantage.
Yeah, huge opening pick, take down the defense. Now, it is Malusi, all that passive util is already down in this case. But they're just working still here. Brava is made it into server, so they've got a little bit of a spread out attack. You can see the blue outlines across the board. Still very spread out at this point. Feels like they've got some server control here, but man, Spider-Man down through the main lobby is certainly a dangerous way to play this game. And you can see a little bit of the flashing going on upstairs, and it feels like it's moving a little bit too slow. You're talking about 50 seconds left. All 5 of the operators in play, but man, this is going to be a drastic 20-second meta when it comes down to it, because they're still just working on clearing the canisters.
Yeah, can opener just popped open a little bit of the wall. It's going to give you some ability to rotate on in. We're holding from the second floor, watching the hatches. Rosepan ends up finding Zethy, evening things right on. Now drops starting to come on through. 30 seconds remain, though. And look at that, still more Goyo canisters to even go through. The smokes are holding them off. Chef ends up finding one more, bringing it more in the defense's favor. Immediately refrag, though, by Nico. Drops refrag also. Wall of Wizardry gets that one as well. 2 versus 3 scenario. Man advantage for the defense. Another one down. There goes your Demos to SHAC. Gets another one, and that's going to be the closeout round. Going on over to your defense team, Anios. They hold on strong.
Yeah, great play there from Team Anios to close that thing out. And really, the Fenrir, one of the highlight picks during that map, he did such, like, the Fenrir trap blocking the Brava at the very end, even if she was going to hop on that diffuser and try and go for, you know, the bait. The fact that she was trapped in the smoke was going to make that an impossible play. Team Anios takes advantage of it. So despite having the glass in place, despite having the Brava, I love the use of the zeros to try and clear out the Goyo canisters, but it was too little, too late. Defense picks up the basement, which honestly I'm not surprised about, considering we're on bank, and that is the stronghold of the building. Going to see how they fare up here on the 2F. A little bit of added intel coming out from the Valk on this side. I love that pick.
Floor, rotate on up, get yourself some more information. I remember back when we were doing the NA with you, Glitter, and myself, the information game was so critical. We saw teams drifting away from the shields, drifting away from the aggressive, drifting away from the hard breach, from the breach denial as well, and thinking so heavily towards information and information denial, both offensively and defensively. It was kind of critical about who was getting those, the Valkyries, the Tokevis, making sure you're tracking down people. I mean, we even saw a lot of Demos getting picked on up, getting banned on away, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar shift towards the players. The Valkyrie are going to be locked on in here, so some more defensive, just lock down, figure out where these offensive members are coming in from, where they're rotating to, and how we can pick them off nice and easy, give us the man advantage.
As we get into that first 30 seconds into this round. All right, 6 targets. We said they moved a little bit slow on the previous one. Where are they looking outside? I love the extra intel. I mean, just continuing to run the zero here as the counter to it. And wow, Eraser goes down after Orion picked him off. So he's the opening pick now 2 rounds in a row. I mean, playing a little bit aggressively on the outside here. It doesn't feel like that's a bad choice. Put a little bit of pressure on the attacking team, especially since they were able to convert that into a round win, but being down 2 players in a 5v3 scenario certainly makes this significantly more difficult here. Team Anios is going to have to be very careful the way they approach this last 2 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, you were down a single man before. It was like, all right, cool, last round, you were able to bring that one. I'm back. 2 is kind of a lot more of a detriment. We see all 3 members of Team Anios moving back towards site, getting nice and close because you don't have a whole lot of wiggle room. I mean, a little damage into Zeti, a little damage into the Ash. He's just going to run at you. Probably not going to be too much of a factor. I mean, look at that wall of wizardry. Their castle ends up eating some himself. So that part has been evened on out. Only about a minute and a half remaining on the clock. Control of 90, control of the angles. 6 targets. They just need to sit there and push on nice and steadily. They have time on their side.
Yeah, making good progress here, working it, especially holding on, and there another huge one, taking down Jeff, wizardry gone. What a triple coming out from Orion as we get ourselves into a 5v1 scenario. Can Shays pull this off? No.
Yeah, no. Nice and smooth. No is a very good answer right there. We saw him able to pull it out in the last one, but I think there's just one word that really comes to mind other than flawless right there for Team Anios, and it was clinical. It was just a very nice, smooth dismantling of 6 targets. I'm sorry, of 6 targets for Anios. There we go, the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, and on honestly, Orion, a little bit of individual heroics there, picking up a 3K to send his team to a significant lead. But on the Anios side, I mean, you had two opening pick 2 rounds in a row for Eraser. That is something that they have got to watch out for, be much more careful here. Right, if you're going to be spawn peak, if you're going to play that early game to try and put pressure on the 6 target attack, like, you got to get some value out of that. He's been unable to win those battles initially, so now he's got a C4 in hand, right? You cannot lose that unless that C4 at least takes down some of the attacker utility, slows them down, and hopefully takes a man with him. So tied up 1-1 as we get into it. And if you're just joining us, welcome in, everyone. It is map 1 of a best of 3 here in the open qualifier number 2 for OCE, the final last opportunity. The winner goes to close Quals to take on Man LFO to find that spot into the APL close qualifier. So this is a big game. It's a winner go home scenario for both of these teams. 6 targets came in 3rd in open qualifier number 1. You do not want to go home empty-handed again.
Team Anios seems like they want to go down to this first floor. They're like, okay, that's a little bit different than how that second floor clearly did not go in our favor. Let's try something else. Let's get to an area where we have upstairs rotational pressure, where we can maybe utilize things like the nitros, like the impacts, throwing them on up, maybe get a little bit more idea of what's going on above us. But one thing that concerns me, and that's what we're seeing right now coming in from Belazera, is this lobby control that comes in from 6 targets. Even when they were in a bit difficult spot back on round number 1, I want to say, they lost man advantage, but they still gained lobby control rather quickly. Round number 2, 2-man kills, lobby control very quickly, and that is so critical here on Bank, and especially if you're playing staff open area like Team Anios is.
Oh, I love using this Bravo, the interaction there, stealing the gadgets, making this much more difficult for the Valkyrie to operate here, taking away some of those big pieces of intel. And oh, look at that, the DMR age is just here to stay. Such an important part of the way that these rounds are playing out, and Shay's running the DMR on their side as well, so they've got stock pretty much on lockdown. And again, 6 targets feeling like they're moving a little bit slow. Half the round over at this point, just starting to gain this vertical control. Need to make that transition down to the first floor.
Make their way on down, about a minute and a half still to go, but just as so far, a little bit of damage into both sides. Much better round, honestly, for Team Anios, being able to slow things on down, especially when you have those things like the nitro, like we're talking about, but also like the Azami, you know, an operator who gets talking about a case and he just ends up going on down. I'm sorry for the caster curse, man. I didn't mean it. I really didn't mean it.
Every time it happens.
It really does. You got the Azami still, though, whose gadget needs to come back into play, needs to recharge, but she's still alive on the board. Keep that on going. Slow down 6 targets and control the pace of the game for Team Anios.
Down to the final 40 seconds, and I mean, with 9 left alive in this lobby. Eraser goes down as the opening pick one more time. It's crazy. He managed to stay alive significantly longer this time, but man, this kill feed about to be full. This is nuts.
45 seconds left to go on the clock. 5 versus 4, 4 over 4 with the Lion on the ground, just sitting right outside the window of Chef Jeff. No clue. Orion ends up getting dropped on down to Wall of Wizardry, so a little bit better for the defense. An advantage, or a man advantage, but they don't really even know about it with the Lion on the ground. 10 seconds to go. Nico has diffuser in hand to push on in. Bails down. Down goes Southie. Look at that. A nice cleanup coming in from the defenders. They lost the first man yet again, but they pulled it right on back all the same as they did on round one. Maybe sitting at this lower level is going to be a benefit to them as we head into the second set of bans.
And speaking of bans, big question here. I've had this conversation both with the T2 teams and T1 teams. Do you decide to target ban specifically? Do you have a strategy going in? Do you get distracted by a player who's had a particularly incredible round as a problem that you want to try and deal with retroactively, like reactively, or do you just keep standard with the plan? In this case, it feels like Team Anios taking down the Brava, reacting to that operator, really dismantling a lot of pieces of that intel game early on. They do leave Glass on the board, I thought, or the Zero. Either one of those, I thought, may be a piece that they might look to target. But honestly, they were getting tons of utility and value from Brava. I think that's a good call. And then Azami, yeah, a staple. A hugely important operator across the board, any one of the sites, and pretty good here from the Team Anios defense. So now they need to adapt around it, and man, they've doubled up on the intel. The Maestro and the Echo, now that don't have to worry about the Brava stealing those pieces of utility, I love that they're just stacking it.
I think that was really a big factor in that. Team Anios looking, they're like, okay, we want to change things up a little bit when we go down to this downstairs site yet again, understanding that 6Targets are going to do the same. I mean, take a look at this team comp they brought in. They brought in the Ying, and anytime I see the Ying, I just know this is going to be an execution-heavy team comp. 6Targets wanting to drop on in, wanting to make quick work of claiming site and moving on through, especially since the last time, I honestly want to say, pushing into the Fender, pushing into the Goyos, the Smokes. These were all things that were really causing so much slowdown, so much second questioning, second guessing for 6Targets as they were trying to push in when they didn't have a whole lot of time. I mean, 20, 30 seconds for the drops when you're trying to push into a bunker down defense from Team Anios, it isn't going to work too well.
As they work in the garage side here, obviously knowing you've got one of the defenders playing back in this spot, you saw the deployable shield in play, but he's got to hear that drone being loud across the board, just waiting for it, watching. Glass has certainly made a significant push up here, covering the dirt side. I thought they were going to have some of the pieces of intel on him, but honestly feels like they're just baiting him in at this point. Chef Jeff was the guy we knew we were watching out for, and yeah, look at him watching. He knows that there's a drone over here, but trying to watch the top blue too. Feels like missing the shield in that spot to just give him a little bit of extra protection.
He knows there's a drone over there, but do they really know that Orion is sitting sandwiched right between not only the Smoke with the shotgun, but the rest of the team and the site that is GM Anios over here on the downstairs? Finally, a little bit of a collapse going on. Wall of Wizardry ends up finding Orion, but then Chef gets traded on out by Bale. So a 1-for-1 scenario right here. The Glass did get picked off in a collapse.
Minute 20 left, and still seeing this focusing on the upstairs piece. They're got to get control of the hatches upstairs, and right, it doesn't feel like they have got all of the control that they need. Now finally looking down, you take a look at where the defense is at, all bunkered back down, holding on to the power positions in the basement. So 6Targets has all the space that they need upstairs, but have not cleared out the space that they need yet. And man, I thought we were going to see Goyo swing it, but he backs off the engagement. Again, no need to push at this point. The piece that they're missing, though, area denial, no smoke, because Chef Jeff is gone, and that is going to give 6Targets a little bit of a boost here as we get into that final 40 seconds.
I think that's really the thing that they're looking forward to. With the smoke off the board, we're seeing some Ying Candelas drop on through. Another Candela gets thrown on out, and Bale ends up getting dropped on down by Closepan. So offensive member off the board. Nico trading out, finding a razor. Nice little headshot right right there. One trap back in the vault. Zethi goes down to Prosopan. Another kill for Prosopan. But it's 2 versus 2 scenario with the Tubarão on the ground. Nico and Kin both very healthy. Kin never mind while of
Wow,
finds himself
what a play.
1 versus 3 scenario. Prosopan isn't healthy. The Echo rather healthy, and those Echo drones still going to be a factor if any of them are sitting around. If he tries to go for a last-second diffuser, doesn't even have diffuser in hand to even do that. He's got to hunt down the remaining members, but that's going to be the round, and it goes another round towards the defense, another round towards Team Anios.
Honestly, Goyo locked in the vault was the difference maker for that round. They just could not make it, could not clear him out of the vault position. Having to swing, having to watch all of the other points of entry across the red hallway. He was just locked in. Great play. The fact that they didn't have any pressure coming from the vault side, coming from the elevator side, just allowed him to operate there and completely shut down any opportunity they had to push in. So good use of the Maestros and the Echoes there to give all of the intel and know that he was safe to be playing from that side. And yeah, Team Anios on defense, not unexpectedly though, capitalizing here and running a pretty good round so far here on Bank. 6Targets did find their offensive win when they played the second floor previously. So it was off the back of an Orion 3K, the only 3 that he's managed to pick up so far. Can he pull off another miracle on the second floor? Or I'm going to see Team Anios complete the full round rotate.
Team Anios up here on the second floor. I don't want to just attribute 6Targets victory back on round number 2 to the fact that they got 2 quick picks right off the rip and it gave them a nice 2-man advantage. I do think 6Targets, they moved quickly, they moved swiftly, they played their time significantly better. And then I want to look at rounds 1, 3, and 4 in response to that. With Team Anios, they were able to control the pace of the game. All those 3 rounds, 1, 3, and 4, it was Team Anios controlling the pace, slowing things down, and forcing 6Targets into this last 10 to 20 second time frame. You can't do that if you're 6Targets. You gotta turn up the dial, you gotta turn up the aggression, you gotta find ways to gain map control quickly and take possession. We even saw in that last round with the Glass moving all the way into servers, taking that map position very quickly. That was cool. But what did you do with that is the big question.
Yeah, they got stalled out. That's what happened. It just really couldn't push forward, even though they had the Glass in position and server was just could not translate that into anything specific. And for me, it's interesting that here on this one, on second floor, really where it feels like Glass shines as one of the better attacking operators. They choose not to run him this time. So we'll see. Is that going to make the difference? Is this, was Glass the piece of the puzzle that they needed to trade out? I like that they're still using the 0, right? Nico has been absolutely locked in on 0, I think, every round at this point, and it's interesting because he's not been a super important part of the competitive scene across the board.
No, I haven't seen too many 0 players, but when we were talking that information game, I don't think there's really a better operator than get a camera in and try to lock people down. But Ryan, that person we were hoping was going to be the big guy, ends up getting dropped first. Nico soon to follow. Prosopan finds himself a double, gets Zethi as well. It's a 5 versus 2 scenario for Team Anios. Looks like they cleaned up what happened over in round number 2.
Oh, man. Eraser goes down again. I mean, not the opening pick of the round this time after Team Anios had a significantly better play this time. They didn't lose any of those opening picks. It's all down to Bailey. But in this case, I mean, Eraser has just been that guy that is really struggling. 1 and 5. Talked about Chef Jeff at the beginning of this game. He was going to be that guy who was a constant in the pro scene, one of the big names to be looking out here on the Team Anios side, and he's the guy that it cleans it up. And they are just on a defensive win streak right now. And this was their map pick, so Team Anios got to ban. Wait, all right. Hold on, I'm gonna check myself because now I'm second guessing myself.
Wait a minute. Usually when teams pick a map, they end up going to offense first.
Yep, I think this is just right now 6Targets struggling to get anything going on their map pick.
I do think that Bank is one of the difficult ones to do that with. I think Bank and Skyscraper are probably the 2 that I look at where it's like, do we really want to be the team who picks those? Because it does feel like defensively, Bank and Skyscraper have a lot of advantages still going for them, even though the meta is shifting so heavily towards offense. it feels like, I want to say more closer towards neutral towards offense, kind of in that nice 55% range on the opposite end. Bank, though, it was just such a defensively heavy map that I think it went more towards very heavy defense towards neutral side defense, still on the defensive favor. So to be able to pick it first, to have the confidence that your enemy team isn't going to have just a strong, capable defense here on Bank, it just seems like a, I want to say a shot in the dark, a gamble.
You know what? Love gambling. Taking a couple shots here, hoping to get lucky gambling here on that first floor, but it dodges the literal bullet as Wall of Wizardry survives. The big question for me is Eraser going to be the opening death on Team Anios again, or is he about to lock in and contribute just a little bit more, hold on to that C4 and cash in those chips? 6 targets, and they just need to stay alive and turn that into a round win this time around. And jeez, Orion, one heroic round, goes down as the opening pick this time. So a little bit tragic play for him. That is unfortunate. Not going to continue that battle.
Yeah, Ryan, unfortunately, the opening pick in the last round as well, just finding himself in difficult spots, getting picked off, and when you're that nomad, when you're that person who needs to sit there and get her gadget down to make sure your team isn't getting rotated on, it's just these opening picks, though. Shaz getting refragged, Bailey gonna pick that one on up. So far, so good for both of these teams.
I can't believe this rappel is wild.
Yeah, right, he just hit right in the middle of the lobby. Hey, anybody here? Anybody home?
No smoke, nothing there to try and block it. I mean, I thought we would see Team Anios like go for something there to be able to try and take that engagement, but no, he's gonna manage to pull off the Spider-Man rappel, drop down in the middle lobby, and pick up a kill to go along with it. Hell of a game here right now, and 6 targets now, 4v2. Best opportunity we've seen since back on round 2 to win one.
That's right, triple kill for Bailey as well. The Buck moving his way on forward. Large mag, can he keep dumping it into the members of Team Anios? Close out this first half, at least 4-2 in favor of 6 targets, and show us why they picked this map. Right on the other side, to turn the swing on the elevator. He doesn't even know he's there. Wall of Wizardry ends up just getting him for free. And look at that, down goes Bailey as well. The pros of hand, it's turned from a 4v2 into a 2v2, just like that. Things evened on out. It's going to allow Team Anios to work their way back towards site. Both members back here on site happily. They're just able to go back, bunker down, and chill. Final 30 seconds. It's up to Nico and Zethi to bring this on down. Zethi has the user in hand, but it doesn't feel like any opportunity. Not sure where the members of Team Anios are. 20 seconds left. Now it comes down to the execution. Do they have the information? No, they don't, because Pros are getting a double kill, getting rid of Nico. One gets spotted on out. Shaw's running through the back walls of the cubicles. But you're just getting caught, buddy. You're just getting spotted. You're just getting lucky with those pop shots, and down he goes. So Wall of Wizardry. It's a 5-1 half.
Dude, off the back of some individual heroics from those two guys, 17 and 2 between the two guys left alive on Team Anios. They take a 4v2 scenario and turn it into a 2v0 after absolutely dominating 6 targets on the first floor. I don't want to say it was thrown by the 6 targets team, but certainly they took some of those individual battles, 1v1s, and Team Anios just punished them for it. That was you know what? Yeah, a little bit of a throw there from 6 targets coming out on their opening half. And you know what? Great play by Anios. Those guys locked in. 6 targets. This is your map pick on defense. Time to freaking show up to Bank.
Yeah, I'm kind of sitting here just trying to wonder what it is that 6 targets needed during that offensive side. Is it just clock management? Is it just gaining map possession and doing something with it? You know, understanding the position you're in at different times, your man advantage compared to where you are on the map. What do you think they were missing?
Attackers need to locate and
to me, taking the
can.
individual fights. We talked about them moving too slow, but that didn't really feel like that was sort of the problem, right? At the end of that last round, you had a 4v2, and this was not a scenario where trying to put a carefully executed pinch move on the defense. It looked like they were just sort of pushing individually, looking for trying to spot gaps and just missing to what was right now a little bit of superior gun skill from Wall of Wizardry and Prozapan. Those two guys just really locked in right now. And even though Eraser's struggling, I mean, all of his slack being picked up by the rest of the team. So, you know what? Play the support role. It's not a problem at this point when the rest of the team is hitting so good.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm looking at it, you got 1 or 2 options with a Razor right now that could be really good. Number 1, switch him onto an operator who can get his util out very quickly, like that Malusi we were talking about before. You know, maybe even a Goyo, someone who can just get his gadget down and go and do his thing after. Or option number 2, if you can reel this guy in, I'm wondering what kind of menace Team Anios could be as a collective whole. When you have people who are, oh, I don't know, 7-1-1, 10-1-3, like you said, the collective 17-2 between just 2 members of Team Anios on defense. We'll see if that offense transitions from their defense, if they can maintain that aggression, if they can keep bringing things on going and close this map out nice and swiftly.
I mean, that's what they're looking for, right? When it came down to it, we're talking about the OCE final. This is it. Best of 3. Last opportunity for either of these teams to make close qualifiers, and the opportunity there for the 6 Invitational. And we talked about it earlier, you know. It's such a cool opportunity that Blast and Rainbow Six and Ubisoft are giving to the players. Anyone can make it, as long as you can clear out, honestly, the pro teams and the rest of the region. It is a long, hard-fought road, but right now, you know what, focus on game 1, best of 3, 6 targets, Team Anios. Who's going to pull it off here? Got a couple more maps coming up, Chalet and Consulates to follow, but unless 6 targets can get locked in on their map pick, really feeling like we're going to see a 2-0 here.
I think what's really awesome too about having an option like this for Blast for the R16 is you get a lot of different comp scenes where people look at the pro scene and they're like, oh, it's a friends league. You know, once you're in, you're locked in. But that really isn't the case. This shows you that the pros are there for a reason. That these guys are skilled, so bring your skill indeed. Bales, who was bringing it out really nicely in the last round, ends up getting dropped to Chef. Jeff Orion finding a Razor. Prozapan on the ground. Wall of Wizardry shows on up yet more. Giuseppe. Kin ends up finding Wall of Wizardry in response.
Wow.
3 versus 3, but 2 members of Team Anios, they're on the ground. There goes the last. It's a cleanup, and that's going to be a round back in favor of 6 targets.
Okay. Second floor there just seems to be their spot. They win it once on attack, now once on defense, just locked in on the second floor. The problem is we haven't seen them find success on any of the other bomb sites here on Bank so far. Opportunity up. Lockers, CCTV downstairs in the basement, and the fact that, you know, whether or not Team Anios made a mistake in the operators that they banned outright, they got rid of the Mira and the Clash, which is interesting. It does leave Cade on the board. So it's going to force them into using a lot of utility to try and open up those hatches, make it a little bit more difficult. And honestly, what 6 targets is bringing to this basement defense is a tried and true solution. Combination of the area, not only both the smoke and the Goyo and the Cade and now the DMR and the Surya Gates from Maruni. This is a very solid setup designed to slow down, especially opening up those hatches, force the attacking team into, you know, the stairways, the most dangerous way to traverse floors in Rainbow Six Siege. If they can keep some of these hatches areas closed. I love this setup from 6 targets, and right, they are locked in the competitive scene.
I just hear and this and that and all the things that 6 targets are just bringing to the table right here to just lock down the team of Team Anios. The thing is, though, you push into those stairwells, oh, Goyos, oh, smokes, oh, shotguns, oh, you know, they're just all in your face. Not fun in the slightest. We could see Kai just chilling over in Vault. He wants to go for a nice little fun cheeky counter right here. See if anybody goes for a quick push on there, but doesn't seem like anybody's really wanting to show up. We do see a lot of members of the offense pushing around the backside, pushing around towards blue stairs, just trying to lock down the defense. And I think Chef Jeff spotted somebody.
I mean, they're going to have to open up the vault hatch for sure, right? We talked about that being such an important part of the way that Team Anios was successful on defense, was keeping the vault locked down. So we know that they need to open up that piece of it. So Cade's just holding, waiting, going for the potential trick there in the corner. How much time is he going to be able to burn in that corner? If he does manage to pull off the trick, even if they do open it up with an impact EMP or use the Thatcher, there it is. It's going to go again. Is he... No, well played there from the Thatcher, just showing off the new gadget, how quick it is to use and operate, and the fact that it's got 5 charges now has made it easy for them to open the hatch. So all the work that Orion had, getting himself set up and ready to try and pull off a trick on the vault hatch, done and dusted. But a lot of time burned away at this point. 1:20 left in the game, so more than half gone. Got a couple of the hatches open, but all 10 left alive so far.
Yeah, it's nice when you could sit there and try to go for those bandit tricks, the Kaid. So the problem is Thatcher gadget being so instant now, allowing him to just pop those Kaids, pop those bandit batteries. It just makes it too instant for them to be able to get a push. But then you can't ban out the Thatcher. You got Hibana, you got Ace, you got these ranged hard breaches that you got to be worrying about on top of it.
Man, 53 seconds left, and now we talk about feeling like it is stalled out at this point. They still have got Goyo canisters in play, and there it goes. Just popped one of them, but that is going to burn a ton of time. Does he have the ability to drop that hatch, get in? Team Anios, man, just moving it too slowly at this point. It's going to be a 30-second, 20-second, 15-second meta drop, and that kill feed's going to explode.
Got a drop on in. No smoke canisters left. There goes the last one right there. Drop on down, and you can see the hatch racer ends up getting the opening pick of this one. Zethy gone and down but not out. Those sends. Gonna block off some vision. Chef through the garage, comes in nice and late, ends up finding Kitten. And then another one going to Shaz on the Nico. It's a 5 versus 2 scenario for Team Anios. A nice swift taking. Orion and Bale end up stopping the plant from going on off. They can't get the diffuser in time. The defense holds it on down. They block it off, and it's going to be a 6 targets victory.
Just stalled out. Absolutely stalled. What are you going to do when the attacking can't, the attack can't get anything going there? Just absolutely stalled. Great play there.
If you have that backside, if you have servos control, why go up onto the table to go for the plant?
It's a great question, right? Why not make the rotate over, try and play for the other side? Man. Just a little bit of tragic there, and finally we see 6Targets win one of the other sites on this map. So they managed to pull off the second floor, and now showing a little bit of resilience in the basement.
Bomb located by
I was
attackers.
just looking at that last round, and I mean, even if I'm 6 targets and we get site reset, do I go back to that basement site? It was a 5v2. You know, Team Anios, everything was in their favor up to the point where they went for the plant and that guy got picked off, and then you run out of time because of the amount of time that you end up doing. Good time control coming in from 6 targets during that round. Do you risk going back there and risk that same scenario, except the planter is in just a better spot?
I mean, tough call. Honestly, it's not part of the setup right now that that 6Targets wants to run, so they find some success. Interestingly, this changing up a strategy, changing up the way that you want to play the game. Alibi, that's one that we definitely do not see very often in competitive play. There's so many good defensive operators. You've got the Azami on the board. In this case, you brought on the double breach denial of both the Cade and the Bandit. It's interesting that that's going to be the play, and Rosapan 11-3-3 continues just dominating here on this, picking off Zethy, who's 1-8, struggling, but all of his passive util is down. Those Goyle canisters are going to do his job in the afterlife.
6 targets pulling out a lot of things. They're pulling out the zeros, they're pulling out the alibis. You know, I'm kind of wondering what we're going to be seeing next. I'm kind of wondering what operator could surprise me today is really going to be the big question at this point. 2 minutes remain. Man advantage for Team Anios. They were able to find the opening pick on the 1, but like you mentioned, Look at this, just Chaz just waiting. It's not even gonna have a prep. I thought I was expecting a quick drop, but instead it's gonna be a quick drop of Wall of Wizardry. Bailey ends up getting that pickup and evening things right back out. Mark from the hole in the wall for that Candela. Wasn't able to get in on the mark where he wanted it to. Now mid Chaz drops to Kitten. Gonna be a nice little pickup for the defense. 6Targets holding on out. Heard a rip of a nitro, but did not connect onto anyone. Orion eating a little bit of damage. The Dokebi call comes on through, so it's going to lock on down where some of these members of the defense are. Minute 15 left on the clock.
Yeah, you're talking about a 3v3, real different from that last round where we were still sitting stacked 5 apiece. And oh wow, I thought he was going to win that battle, but Bailey takes it, laying down prone right up against that wall. And boy, the quad is still locked down and electrified at this point. It's going to be very difficult here for the attackers to push in, but Bailey wins that battle. Man, the kill leader, the guy who has really carried this team so far, you can't do it all alone. And unfortunately falls 4-5. Man, what a play.
We're kind of seeing a little bit. Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of 6Targets, why they were picking this map, why they're feeling confident on it. That's 3 defenses in a row. So 3 rounds in a row, you get site reset, you're going into the second set of bans, and this is going to give you a good idea of what you think Team Anios thinks is the problem and how you can adapt to it very nicely. Second set of bans do come on through. It's going to be the Grim and the Kaid that get knocked on out.
Yeah, honestly, you talk about a 5-1 half. I thought this was going to be a landslide in favor of Team Anios, but it's showing 6Targets picked this map, wanted to come to bank, and have got themselves within 1 round. What a turnaround that they've had. 3 defenses in a row, the full round rotate done. Thought maybe it was a little bit of a fluke. They pick up that second floor. Okay, they go ahead and win basement and win the tertiary on top of it. Again, a little bit off the back of some individual heroics from Bailey, as now he's sitting at 9-6-1. But honestly, they've just been playing better across the board, struggling on their attack. Turned this into a defensive-sided bank heavily at this point, and we said it, 1 round away from tying this thing up. Team Anios ready to lock it in on attack. Is the second floor going to be a place they do it? We're going to have tie game.
They looked really good on it back over on the first round of the half. I wouldn't be surprised to see 6Targets pull this one on through as well, but it's really going to come down to what adaptations got made by Team Anios. You didn't pick up the Kaid over here, so it's not really going to affect your strategy for 6Targets on this defense. I'm just kind of curious if they put this one on down. I mean, we saw things like the Azami, we saw things like the Goyo getting picked on up, so a lot of what they have right now is what they've been running similarly across the board. We did see favor with the Kaid over on those lower levels to be able to lock down hatches, but not going to be an option once we do get to that point.
Oh, that's unfortunate that they didn't clear out the they did not clear out the Aruni gates here in this case, and oh, look at that. He's gonna miss. Did not hit the bulletproof. Oh, tragic there. Man, just W play from Orion on the bulletproof cam here. Wow, just destroying this. No way. No way. He got 4?
Uh-huh. What was crazy to me is he got the one that jumped on through, destroyed the Aruni gate, but it didn't go off because it got bulletproofed.
No way.
That is insane. And now the Aruni gate goes back up too. So now that entire push from that whole side just got shut down.
I hope Carmen clipped that thing.
It's when everybody kind of just sits there and looks at each other outside the heartbreak wall when all the bandit tricks worked, and you're just like, we have no more thermite charges.
Yeah, like what are you doing? What happened? Oh man, the comms on that one have got to be wild. We got to see a funny interaction one time with Bulletproof and Flores on Cafe one time on this stream, but that was just wild. The fact that we saw 4 Flores drones get shot by the Bulletproof, and Team Anios was completely unable to deal with that piece of utility. W play there from 6Targets and Orion. Yeah, they managed to, they lose the opening pick. Bailey goes down. We're going to find another one there as Wall of Wizardry takes down a second defender. So now a 5v3. Huge opportunity here for Anios, but after losing all of that util, are they going to be in a tough position? They're going to rely on the gun skill of some of their gunners at this point. But look at this. There's a Ryan hanging out at the top of Spiral, jaywalking, and goes down. Chef Jeff there too. 1v4 scenario with 30 seconds left.
Nico ends up getting one, but is it going to be enough now? He's going to be spotted on out. The Lona Rooney on the back against 4 members of Team Anios. It's an uphill battle, but with the DMR in hand, is it going to be enough? Diffuser started, but it isn't necessary. Chef Jeff going to find one. The first offensive round going over to Team Anios. They find themselves on map point.
You asked the question about whether or not the bans were making that big of a difference. The Cade goes down here from the Team Anios side. Didn't feel like that was going to be a significant part of the defensive setup, especially there on that 2F. But right now it was the difference maker, right? Team Anios manages to pull that off. But again, despite the hilarious situation there with the Flores drones, it managed to win the gunfights, which is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. So all the Kiba barriers, all of that distraction over on the stock side was not enough to try and carry the 6Targets defense to a round win. So all of that momentum that they carried 3 straight, they got the round rotate in place, and Anios adapted to that second floor again. And now try on the basement. I love the lineup that they brought on that first round to play on the basement on round 8, but this time change it up a little bit. They kept the double area denial there with the Goyo and the smoke. I think bringing along the Azami is a good call here. That certainly helps you win some of those gunfights when you have to deal with some very good gunners on the Team Anios side.
I think that last round is a really good showing that it's not just you util your gadgets, how well you can maneuver, how well you can position, how well you can place these kind of things. No, gun skill is also a very major factor, and you need to make sure you have both boxes checked, playing both sides of the ball, both sides offensive and defense here, if you want to find yourself over in SI. And this Team Anios, I mean, cool, our engage didn't work. We couldn't even break through a single Rooney gate. But they went around, they changed things that they needed, and they locked down heads, they clicked on heads, and they knocked them on down, they knocked down the defensive members. So I really like what I see so far, and it's going to come down to how well 6Targets can bucker down. Without that Kaid, you're not going to be able to deny any of these hatches, as already Team Anios are ready to pop ball.
Yeah, going to do the fundamental work here in Siege, the strategic side, opening up all of that. I was going to say, look at this, going for the hatch drop in play. He drops a couple of the Sens gadgets down, but you saw the outline of the defender holding on to the gold vault area. Again, Bailey playing that Goyo, just watching, waiting. Not going to drop the hatch at this point, honestly. Good call. They got the call that it was not the right time that area was being watched. They need a little bit of pressure from around the map to try and distract and hopefully make that vault drop a little bit more viable at this point. The Dokkaebi call comes out as we get into halfway through this round. And it felt like we were talking a lot of smack on Eraser early on, but he finds another one that is huge and puts this team in a 5v2 on match point scenario. How about it, my friend?
5v2 turned into 5v1. It's all up to Bailey to sit there and bring this on down. Eraser, like we mentioned, pulling things on back. Clearly offense is this guy's game. And now a push on down. Good luck alone. And Goyo versus an entire army of Team Anios. Very healthy too as well. The only one with some damage is Eraser.
Oh, nice shots.
Able to get both the King Incandelas. This is nice that they spotted him on out. Shots going through. Bailey ends up getting Chef Jeff for the opener. Locked on down. Down goes the last one. Down goes Bailey. And that's going to close out the map for Team Anios.
And big GG's 7-4 victory to Team Anios. And honestly, it got a little bit closer than I think we were expecting coming into it. This was a very close match halfway through. First, very, very one-sided, obviously. And that is funny the way that worked out. Okay. There we go. Prod trolling myself. Yeah. The fact that Team Anios goes 5-1 on the half and then getting to see 6Targets pull up an incredible run there, 3 in a row in their defensive half, but ultimately for naught as Team Anios shuts them down. So that was map 1 of a best of 3. It was 6Targets map pick. So now they're going to have to come back significantly stronger here on Chalet for map 2.
Some big takeaways for me. You know, I came out of that first half, I should say, into the second half. I was wondering, I was like, okay, 6Targets, why did we pick this map? You know, what is the reason we wanted to go to bank? We switched sides. We saw 3 clean rounds in a row. I would say 2 clean rounds. That first basement, it was a little bit sketchy. I ain't gonna lie. 2 very clean rounds, but 3 rounds in a row, they ended up claiming victory on. I really liked what I saw, and I was like, okay, so maybe this is why we picked it. Brought it close, almost brought it on back, but it was just the little things, little fundamentals, and honestly, a whole lot of gun skill that I want to say led 6Targets to be able to hold that one on down. How is that going to transition over to our second map? It's going to be very difficult. I mean, Chalet is a map that requires a lot of that. I mean, you don't have as many open areas, as many long angles that you do have over on bank, but still some angles that you definitely need to be covering.
Yeah, and it feels like 6Targets did a great job of managing utility across the board. Like, they seem like they're a little bit more focused on that part of the game. And sometimes Chalet can fall to the fundamentals in that way where even though it's three full floor map, you know, it sort of gets segmented off on those, and whether or not it's the bar gaming library side, and you can sort of have very close engagement, and the utility being a very important part of the way that plays out. So here it is. We're going to get ourselves ready for map 2. Going to come back, hopefully quick reset with the lobby as it's very late in NA, but we are very happy that everyone here is joining us for this OCE Open Qualifier number 2 final game to send one team to the closed qualifiers. What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. Map 1 is done. Team Anios and 6Targets in a best of 3 to decide who is going to the closed qualifier here in the OCE 6 Invitational Last Chance Qualifier. Zek, thanks for joining me again, my friend.
I'm really honestly loved that last match, and it really showed a lot of the best of both worlds, what we were looking for. Equipment mechanics and then gun skill mechanics. Got to make sure you're having both as we get ready to head on into Chalet Run. I'm really excited to jump on into map number 2.
Yeah, that's right. Chalet is one of my absolute favorites. I love this map. It has been one of my favorites for a long time. It sort of fell out of favor in the competitive pool for quite a while, but it's making a little bit of a resurgence, I think, and honestly, pretty happy about that. But it's got that, we talked about it, the big map feel, the small map feel, and as we get into the bans, it's going to be without Grim, Mira, Dokkaebi, and Bandit. So a little bit of, a little bit of the area denial, a little bit of the util denial. Yeah, interesting, sort of not focused in either space.
No, hard breach doesn't seem to be the focus either for these teams, so they're going to be moving right on in, popping open some walls, and just trying to claim as much ground as they can. Like you said, good big map feel, multi-floor, 3 floors. All 3 floors really get played almost every single round, so it's kind of funny in that avenue. But it does feel like a team can move in nice and swiftly, control a good 50% of the map, and then just kind of lock down half the map. If they can take that 50% control, get towards that center connector on the first or second floor, we can see right there, right outside you know, hold it on down, very nice and smooth. It feels like you can create this kind of offensive wall.
Yeah, that's a great point, right? The wall that completely locks down the attackers from being able to make smooth transitions across and really, again, forces the team to focus on trying to clear out some of this space with that defensive utility. That you have to gain that space, and this is I like this play here from the 6Targets defense. We don't get to see Ella very often, but again, feels like she has made a little bit of an increase in play time and competitive play. Those the Grismont mines giving the shield break if you're up against a shield. Now, one of the things we haven't seen so far, a big difference between the T4 team and these OCE teams that we've seen today on the Siege Double Shot channel. Those shields almost every single round in that NA game. Over here, we've seen very few shields being played. We have seen a few C4s and an opening pick there. this 6-target team is Orion starts it off with a C4 kill, taking down the Thermite. That main wall is open though.
Main wall gets popped open. Orion gets popped on down as well. Way to get on in there, but the fires, oh, they don't quite reach. Prosopan ends up getting dropped as well. So if they can pick up Ryan, this is going to be a 5 versus 3 man advantage for 6Targets. Starting on defense, did quite well at the start of their defensive rounds back on bank. As we remember to Ryan pick back up Chef. He's lurking around the corner.
Yo, what is he doing?
Chef ends up getting it. He's just pushing on forward. He's all the way into the back of sight.
Hello, where are you looking? Walks around the corner of it, and look at this boy, takes a shot with the... I honestly thought that Boss G hit. I am shocked he didn't manage to pick off a kill from that one. But Chef too, walking into sight, claiming space, claiming heads, as now they put him into a 2v2. What a comeback for this team.
Heavily in advantage for Team Anios, but it doesn't matter. Chef ends up getting dropped. Advantage back towards 6Targets. Now all they gotta do, lock this on down. Chaz pushes on in, goes for the plant in the default spot, gets pre-fired through the floor. From above. Did not seem like that was gonna be enough. What?
Holy cow, I've never seen that before.
Have you ever? Yeah, I haven't either. He just picked it back up too.
Like, if it deploys in the wrong spot, it normally is just a wasted play there. But look, he's made it to rotate back. It goes for the default plant in wine. And yeah, now this time you can hear him making the rotate around the key, but blocking that space. 45 seconds left. Is Shay's going to pull this off?
Goes back for the plant. Just trying to bait around the defenders that he knows are nearby. Sound bait, here he comes, down and goes Chaz. Is at the end of getting that one, closes out the round, opening round, going to the defense, going to 6Targets.
Wow, crazy play. Early on, a little bit of a roller coaster, a ride of emotion here on that round for me, because Team Anios opening pick or opening death as the Thermite goes down, and then 6Targets felt like it sort of fell apart in the middle of it there. Chef like picking up, just walking into sight, claiming a couple big kills, but then 6Targets answered back, puts him in a 2v1 scenario, covering the vertical. We've got the Azami to just make that game of Ring Around the Rosie downstairs a little bit more difficult, and nets that defense a win. So we've seen overall fairly defensive-sided Siege here in the OCE Open Qualifier number 2 finals. See whether or not that changes up. Can Team Anios make an adjustment here? As now we're going to play the second floor upstairs.
You know, watching that last round, I was like, okay, 6Targets, they're holding down nice, they're holding down defensively, it's looking really good. But it shows me that aggressive offense still is very relevant. You know, watching Chef just walk right on through, I was starting to question exactly what was going on and how well he was going to hold this on out. We're just remodeling the first floor. Yeah, we don't need any sort of walls anywhere. Just create
open it up
everywhere.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Almost felt like we're playing a little bit of strat roulette here, but honestly, I love the fact that we're seeing Zethy play the Kapkan. This is one that you know, I love getting a chance to see, especially early on in a map where this is going to sort of slow down from Team Anios the way that they're playing it. Now, I feel like Kapkan has sort of fallen out of favor as Denari has really been the guy to sort of replace him, right? A little bit more flexibility, a lot more area cover, resets. And it feels like it's still at this point teams aren't looking for them in the same way that they look for those Kapkan traps. But still, certainly going to slow down the attacking team from make the approach. Now, they're only going to have to watch out for Chef and the Brava from stealing those pieces of defensive util. And honestly, one of my favorite interactions in Siege, and has been ever since Brava was introduced.
I think one of the big things with the Denari not getting picked up is, you know, you don't have a PhD in geometry on every single person on the team, so you really want to make sure you have somebody who understands the angles, understands the fact that you can put it right up against a stairwell in order to get Chef on down, you know, so hey, look at that. Down but not out scenario for one of the members of the offense team. 6Targets. Lock that one on down. That Bravo you were talking up might not be around too much longer as we're halfway through the round. Orion ends up getting traded on out, and Shaz gets one himself as well. Eraser Shaz on the board. 5 versus 3 scenario, 3 versus 4. Wall of Wizardry gets dropped on down. Jeff still on the ground, needs to get picked on up as Nico gets Shaz.
I can't believe he's still left alive at this point, but there it is. The pickup is in, and not just because of his utility play in the Brava, but honestly, he had picked up a couple big kills early on in that first round. So need Chef Jeff to stay alive to keep Team Anios in it. We're into a 3v3 as that last minute of gameplay ticks down, and you got the DMRs in hand plus the shotguns. Boys, Prozapan goes down, so that was huge. They have some space upstairs at this point. Right? I mean, you're talking Racer is in the office, in the bedroom. Problem is they don't have diffuser. That's the piece right now the defense is focused on.
I mean, if you got diffuser, lock it on down and just don't even let the offense close to that. They have to come to you. They have to get towards that site, and they have to do that with the diffuser. Nico gets Jeff. Jeff Eraser finds Nico, but immediately gets refragged, and that's going to be another defensive round. 6 targets. They're holding out strong. They're making sure that their defense is known.
Okay, after you see a couple rounds picked off there by the Vigil, if this was a ranked game, Vigil would absolutely be getting banned. But we haven't seen the competitive teams take those sort of petty, bans into play. They follow a little bit more strategic play. But you know what? Another great round from Vigil, and we may see Team Anios rethink that strategy. We're getting close to the end of the first quarter. Capcan's going to make an appearance again, backed up by Azami. And honestly, she has had an incredible game as well, so a great candidate for a ban there. So Team Anios is going to have to do some thinking about it, especially if they lose their third defensive round in a row. And this has been a good rotate here for 6 targets. They picked up the basement, they picked up 2F, and now, really, these first floor sites have been, I think, the stronger defensive sites in Chalet in the current meta, and the fact that 6 targets managed to find wins on both the second floor and the basement shows right now very strong defensively.
Yeah, they got a lot of potential to come right here to the first floor, play this extended site upstairs. Like we can see, they're leaning a little bit in towards these trap operators. We did see the Captain get brought in the last one, but now also adding on the Frost as well. So gamers don't like looking up, they don't like looking down. We're probably gonna see maybe somebody step on a Frost map because everybody's so focused on head level focus in a game where a single headshot, a single bullet to the head is enough to put you on down. You want to make sure you're watching these angles up higher. Step on a Frost map, step into a double Capcan trap, you're gonna find yourself in a whole world of hurt and find yourself on the gray screen very quickly.
As you got this defense set up, the combination of the Azami and the Frost upstairs to me feels like a great setup, and the Beasts are gonna have to watch out for it. Yeah, that EE1D came out, but Vigil was able to avoid that. So holding on to the hallway up in I was gonna say outside of library, making that push in. And from the Team Anios side, they're gonna go ahead and use the shield to try and maybe clear out the Vigil this time around. Shaz gonna run that blitz, but Rosepan gonna take down 2 in a hail of bullets. Man, and a couple of huge picks for him. Wow, what a turnaround in that first 30 seconds.
Jeff getting one as well. I was gonna say, hey, maybe the shield is the thing that we need in order to break through this defense, but it looks like the kills are happening regardless. Significant damage into the Azami. Kid ends up having to fall on back, maybe 510 HP, get on back and out of there, but it's a 5 versus 2 scenario. But also what? We saw this happen before. We saw what happens in a 5 versus 2 scenario where Team Anios has the advantage. Eraser making it a 5 versus 1 as he gets Kid off the corner. Run out from Zethi. You're spotted, you're known, and down you go. A triple kill for Prozapan and a flawless round for the offense Team Anios.
Man, 2 things that I loved in that one too was that long angle held from the bathroom window. Was the player taking the long angle was up on top of the roof, not directly on the highway, being able to take a little bit of a longer shot into the bathroom, and that was the piece that took Azami down to almost no health at that point. So great play overall, good long angle held, a little bit of mistake coming out from the 6 target side, running across those open sides, and then yeah, the shield was not the difference maker, and it came down to Capcan holding the sausage at the end. That shoddy just not enough to be able to take down a team of gunners, and Team Anios finds an attacking win on that first floor site. So first quarter is done, the bans come out, and wow, there it is. The Vigil. They did target ban them.
They did target ban the Vigil, but they got the Blitz out of there as well. Like we said, oh, well, maybe the Blitz wasn't really the difference maker, and it just came down to
Defenders,
clicking
protect your
heads
bombs
for the
from being
offense.
defused by
But I
attackers.
found it funny to see Shaz in the chat and be like, I didn't even get inside the building, guys. Like, yeah, I'll play
Attackers
Blitz, I didn't even
discovered
get
the
in the
location
building,
of a
but
bomb.
all right, if you want to bend it away, go to the next one. I'll play Blackbeard if you guys think that's the issue for you. Or maybe 6Targets is just sitting there at the end of the day and we're like, you know what? We don't want this to become an issue, so let's just get it out of here since we're just going to get site reset real soon.
I mean, it feels like that if they wanted to play the Brava, they honestly dodged a huge bullet there, right? They're going to leave the Brava available to try and steal some of the 6-target electronic utility, and we're seeing the mute jammers come out, and this time now the Denari. Talked about like the Capcan versus the Denari, and it feels like Denari is just so much more flexible in the current meta. And we've seen some very interesting setups. Honestly, loving getting to see more and more teams, more and more of the pros picking up and playing the Denari to add in. Where are those trip connectors going to go? Where's the cool things that we can do? What does this operator, what avenues do they open up? So love getting to see a little bit more of that. And Bailey's going to be the guy to run it now. Last time, we thought Thermite open up this wall, and then the C4 came out. This time they're not going to go direct for the C4. Was looking to maybe take a shot on Thermite as he's running away, but dodges the literal bullet, survives that engagement. It's going to be Orion to take down Prozapan, and that's the Thatcher. That's a huge, a big loss for this team. They do manage to get that main wall open, but the Thatcher right now is just so good at being able to affect the game.
Man, down going Shaz, so that shield not playing into his favor there either. Zethi getting traded on out by Wall of Wizardry. A Razor finds Kin. Now 2 versus 3 scenario. Team Anios, they have man advantage. They just got to push their way on through. New jammer in pocket. Look at that. Eraser just threw right above you, Bailey. Ends up going on down. So now all up to the lone mute, who's on the complete other end of the map. He's all the way upstairs.
Yeah, it's going to leave Team Anios running around looking for him, but I think they're quickly going to realize, oh, there it is. They've got the diffuser in hand and now identified the defender upstairs on the 3rd floor, so they can just sit and hold these stairs. But honestly, Wizardry, get downstairs, get that plant off, and then it's going to be a post-plant scenario. Yeah, you're going to bait him in at this point, but we've got good coverage, and that is the diffuser down.
Diffuser down, and look at that, moving towards the back end, but Chef Jeff just swings the corner, gets Nico, and that's another offensive round, heading on over to Team Anios. Hold things right on back, all tied up 2-2, and do remember, this is Team Anios' map pick, so expecting, I'm sure, to go over to defense on the second half, and right now they're putting themselves in a very prime position to just take the lead in this game.
Yeah, I mean, in an offensive-sided, attacker-sided Chalet, 6Targets has done the work and put in 2 defensive rounds at this point, but I think you said it best, right? If this is Team Anios' map pick, we're expecting them to come out with very strong defenses. They feel very comfortable on this map. Consulate is the decider that they're waiting for, but unless 6Targets really, steps it up at this point, we may not see that decider. And I wanted to highlight too. We got to see the Denari and those trip connectors slow down Chef Jeff downstairs, so they're doing their job. But the problem is, just like picking yourself up out of a frost mat, doesn't slow down your gun at all. So he was ready and waiting in that spot. But clearly, the defense knew exactly where he was going to be standing. But when you're pre-firing a corner like that, there's not really anything you can do. So I'd love to see more of the trip connectors come out. I think that that it feels like it's on its way for a nerf at some point, especially as he starts to be a little bit overpowered as teams find the right spots to be using those gadgets.
I think that's a big thing, is familiarity. You see this operator, you use him enough, you get a good idea of the best places for him where I can put a single little hole to connect. The first time I turned the corner, turned a doorway, and saw an entire spider web of Denari wires, I was like, what do I do here? And then came the second half of the battle, which was walking down a staircase and eating a Denari tripwire, then going, big sigh, go down the next staircase, eat another one, going, This is going to be every step, isn't it? And not being able to see them and getting a good idea of exactly what I was dealing with this new operator. It's definitely going to be something to keep in mind going forward. And so is a Razor showing on up. We were talking about him over on map number 1. It wasn't doing so hot on the defensive side of things. Pulled it back on their offense, Team Anios' offense. Now here in the second map, 5-2 in the first half. Still a potential full round and a half to go.
That was a crazy amount of utility that Team Anios dumped there to try and take down Bailey. He's playing on the Solarium stairs, and you're seeing flashes. The Nomad air jabs coming in, the nades coming in, and they finally do manage to take down Bailey. And now they've taken down the Azami as well. They managed to drone Orion out of that spot, so they have really cleared a complete space over on the Solar side. And Wizardry's in that spot. Wow, and what a shot. Takes down Orion. Boy, this is falling apart for the 6Targets team in a 1v3.
Zephy versus the world right now. 1:15 to go. Plant going on down once more. You have Scopers. You can see exactly where it's going, but they have the main window locked on down, and now you're trapped in the corner. Bullets rain on through the soft wall. Rain from the window. You're trapped. The Solis gets one on the wall of Wizardry, but gets traded on out by Prosopan. Another round going on over to Team Anios. They're pulling this on down. And some of the things that I'm really looking at are just a rinse, repeat, do it again. We are understand what we need to do. Just keep on running it. I mean, same Azami, same bathroom, getting picked off from the same angle outside. These are things that I'm thinking about if I'm 6Targets.
Well, and it was really fairly one-dimensional there from the Team Anios attack, right? There was basically no pressure from over on the library side. They didn't try and open up the main wall on office, and nothing really happening over on the fireplace side of the map. It was very focused, like you said, on the bathroom and on the Solar side, and they managed to make that work. 6Targets, despite the fact that that it felt like they had a good setup with the combination of the Jaeger and the Legion. The Thatcher being able to turn off the ADSs really just enabled them to nade out that space, but it felt like it was it was not very spread out, and 6Targets should have been able to adapt around it, and we would have been talking about, oh, Team Anios didn't do a good job putting pressure on the map, didn't do a good job of distracting, opening up enough avenues there, but it's not. It was all one-sided. Team Anios winning that. So even though they managed, 6Targets has managed to win 2 on defense, this is very much feeling like a TA map as we get into it. Last round of the half. 6Targets are going to play that second floor bomb site one more time with a few changes in the lineup.
Couple changes coming in. Let's wait back. Qual's getting shocked on down. But the last round and a half underway. 6Targets want to close this one on out 3-3. Need to close this one on out 3-3 to have some pressure. Get a good idea of Team Anios from the outside. Default cam still available to them, and seeing where this offense is exactly pushing in from. Starting to pop on down, and they got to lock down this second floor on whoever is playing up here on the extended site.
Also, I'm pretty sure I said second floor site, but kitchen dining. A lot of util set up here on that second floor, though, looking for the Cade. And look at this. What a run out! As boy, Chef Jeff and the Twitch was like literally on top of his head. Well played there, using the impacts, pulls off the run out. Man, that was just well played.
Man, I really love to just seeing a drone get put in some crazy spots now because of the lineup. That it's been here for a little bit now, but it's still always fun to see people just get a drone or a nade in a very tight spot just because they got the marker showing where it's gonna bounce. I love seeing that kind of stuff. Halfway through the round, man advantage for the defense. 6Targets. Now they just got to hold it on down. Now they just got to utilize it. A Razor gets Orion, though. It evens things right back on and out. Blackbeard shoots his way across. Tries to lock it down the top over by library, but should be just fine nonetheless, even though there's a defender sitting right next to him.
Again, they basically got the Solar side locked down. It's only Azami holding down to the office side, and damn it, just as I say her name, Wall of Wizardry shuts her down, and now a 4v3 scenario. How about a 2v4 is now the vertical coming out, and they have trapped both of the 6Targets players downstairs on the first floor with good second floor coverage from Team Anios. And Prozapan still left alive. I mean, Solus is sitting at 6-3. She has had an incredible game so far. Can she win this battle?
Spotted on out, tries to get the shots across, but flashed as well. Can't see. Diffuser going on down. Naded on out, tries to run on in. Prozopan gets it, and that's going to be the first half. Going over to Team Anios, 4-2 in their favor, switching sides on their map choice. They are just maintaining aggression, maintaining pressure, and maintaining momentum.
Well, and what a shift, too. I mean, you talk about momentum. 6Targets managed to pick up the first 2 rounds. You saw them win on round 1 and 2 in the basement and 2F and said, damn, what a good play here for this team. They managed to do a great job of at starting this thing off. We're talking about them answering back, taking over Team Anios map pick. But then, after that, man, the floor dropped out of the 6Target defense, and Team Anios dominated, going 4 in a row to put honestly a huge statement here on their map pick. Now onto the defensive half. I'm expecting them to be very good at this point. So 6Targets, they had some great offensive rounds over on Bank, especially actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. They were not very good on attack. Defense was where they were really shining when they picked up 3 in a row. That's what I was thinking of. But yeah, this is feeling like is going to be a struggle for this team. So if you got any 6Target fans in the chat, man, it is time to show up for your team, because right now they are on the verge of losing this grand final here in the open qualifier number 2 here for OCE.
Bomb located by attackers.
Winner moves on, loser goes home. They want to find themselves over in the grand finals for the region as a whole. Qualify for SI, it's really the big thing everybody's playing for right now, so it's going to come down to how well 6Targets can pull this one right on back. First round of the second half is going to be a big statement. How well 6Targets push their way on in and really just breach Team Anios is going to be my big thing.
10 seconds left before
I just really got to see some good execution, making sure that they're getting
5 seconds to
I honestly want to translate over from what we were talking about back on Bank. Guns clicking heads, making sure that you are working that side of your mechanics very healthy.
We talked about the 6Targets attack not feeling like they were fundamentally very good, right? Just this open up every wall. You know, if you rely on gun skill as the way you're going to win some of these games, win some of these rounds, that is where Team Anios is going to shine. So it really feels like 6Targets needs to focus on the the fundamentals of Siege. And take a look at Orion here. He has picked up 5 gadgets that he has got a direct line of sight on. He sends the shots out. That means it's going to open up all those ADSs. So they're going to have a little bit of control over on the library side. Pinch move completed, taking down Eraser. But oh no, the C4 from down below evens that thing up just a little bit. They're going to manage to get Sens picked up, but man, some of that damage done. Crazy util up in the top of the library.
One spotted on out the one by, ends up getting it.
No way!
Goes for the swing, but ends up getting dropped by Zeti. Zeti gets a double. Gets Wall of Wizardry as well. Nico traded out by Chef Jeff. It's a 3 versus 2 6Targets advantage. Chef Jeff eats a little bit of damage. Zeti still alive. Not a whole lot left in the tank, but can keep it on going. Chef Jeff dropped by Zeti, and Kin gets the last. It's going to be an offensive round, and it's gonna go over to 6Targets.
That was a hell of a good round there from 6Targets, right? The combination of using the Thatcher upstairs, completely eliminating in a single run 6 different electronic pieces of utility for the Team Anios defense. Great pincher move upstairs, and then just some crazy motion, right? When the fact that Zeti wins 2 of the 3 battles he has upstairs in the top of the blue stairs, and then manages to walk away from the engagement. And sort of hide before coming back and re-engaging was crazy. That was a little bit of individual heroics there, and he's sitting at 9-4 as a result. But good use of offensive utility, backed up by a tremendous play by Zeti, with 6Targets within 1. and it has stopped the momentum here for Team Anios. They go 4 in a row. We're talking about how they're about to win this best of 3, and then 6Targets shows up to the battle on attack.
Just gotta sit back and just go, man, how are you guys at home not banning this Thatcher? You know, you see a play like that and you're just like, man, I do not want to be on the receiving end of all of my gadgets are gone, nades are flying off through. I had several ADSs. I had, you know, well, my gadgets to catch nades and whatnot in flashbang. I had Malusi sitting here in case anybody jumps in and they get slowed. I had Capcan traps. Everything's gone. And now I'm just standing here like a dead duck, you know, just getting spotted on out as I get collapsed on. How is this operator get allowed to do it is going to be a big thing as I see. We were talking about the Denari and seeing, oh, what's his pick ban rate going to look like, and oh, what he's seeing. I'm kind of looking towards this Thatcher. Are we going to see his pick ban rate change significantly? Are we going to see, you know, things go with his gadget as players start to get more of an idea? Because this is an operator who has been around for a while. We know what he does. We have a good idea, and this gadget just allows so many opportunities for execution plays like that to happen.
You know, you bring up a good point, too, on the Thatcher, is I think there's going to be some situational pieces where he is incredibly powerful, right? You take a look at that. Outside, on the highway windows, outside of the library, on the balcony there, he's able to catch all of the ADSs that are piled up in the corner, plus the Aruni gate, plus a couple of other pieces, right? That's huge that all of those pieces line up in the same spot. That may not happen, you know, in all of the different sites where utility might be spread out a little bit more, but you know, there's going to be some situations where Thatcher is going to be indispensable. And right now, take a look at this. Managed to take down one, the combination of the Mav and the Glass. I love that combo. And you got a Thatcher there to make sure you can open up, get rid of all those electronic pieces of utility. This one looks good for the 6Target side, but they're down a man. Minute 20 left in this round. The wall's still locked down. They still have got to place a fundamental siege here, but look at that. Fried takes down one. Man, into a 5v3, and that wall is still locked up tight.
That P90, man, it's just going to shred right through you, and Kin ends up getting Chef Jeff as well. So a nice little one-for-one there with Bailey off the board. They were able to get the diffuser back in hand. Zethi through the Maverick holes. You got to be watching out for that. We were just talking about the Wombo combo of Maverick and Glass. Still going strong. He gets himself a double kill. Zethi knocking
11 and 4.
Man, advantage for 6Targets. Nico goes on down to a Razor. Razor running on back, gets some safety. No diffuser in hand for 6Targets, but let me tell you, it feels like they are moving through nice and swiftly. Nitro ripped, Nitro pulled, not gonna connect, but Kin's bullets do. It's a 2 versus 1 with 20 seconds remaining. Zethi just getting the diffuser, like you mentioned, 11 and 4, pushes his way on through, goes for the plant. Kin there for the save. It's the Solus. He sees it, but he can't get it. Kin's watching the hatch. Down he goes. Another offensive round. We're all tied up.
Okay, wild, my friend. I thought going into this that we were really going to see this target, the 6Targets team struggle on attack based on what we saw back on Bank. They have managed to win one attack, and Team Anios just crushed them as a result of it. This time though, they've come alive. They have showed up here on attack on Chalet. This is Team Anios' map pick. And they have not managed to win one of their defensive rounds at this point yet. Heading into round 9, and now we're tied up 4-4. If we were going to see the magic of Team Anios and their map pick, I mean, now's the time. But 6Targets, we called them out, and they showed up.
Yeah, and I don't want to get way too far out of myself. I mean, we saw the first 2 defensive rounds for 6Targets here on Chalet. Looked phenomenal. And then all of a sudden it was like, what happened? You know, adjustments got made by Team Anios. Well, Team Anios, now's the time to make adjustments, but 6Targets. Keep this momentum going. Find us on map 3. Take us over to Consulate. I'm here for the content. You know, it's late in inning, but I'm here for the content. I want to see it happen. I want to see some more siege. And right now, they are right in this momentum. Now it just comes down to keeping things on moving. Gonna run the double power tree. Going to run the Glass again. I like this. Use it to your advantage and just keep pelting down the defenders of Team Anios.
There it is. We saw one of these earlier, the rehost coming out in chat. So we're gonna take a quick pause, take a quick break, my friend, as we get that lobby reset back up. But you know what? It wouldn't be live Siege without some live problems. We are in map 2 of the best of 3. One more to go, Consulate, if we can see 6 targets come alive here at the end. And you know what? I'm here for it. You said it. Here for the content. But honestly, here for the fans. Want to see your team make it all the way through. It is the 6th Invitational. Last chance qualifier here for OCE. One more opportunity in the open.
That's right. I mean, honestly, I would say 6 targets fans, you're in there in the chat. I saw you a little bit earlier. Start letting them know. You start getting hyped. Start letting them know you want to see game 3. You want to get us over to Consulate. I know it's going to be a long night for y'all, but man, you want to see your team qualify for the SI. You want to see them move on.
100%. It's like right there. Anybody can make it. They came in 3rd place in open qualifier number 1. Is so close to making that spot. So looking to make their mark here on number 2, the last opportunity, my friend. But quick break as we go for the rehost. We'll be back shortly. What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. Rehost done. 4-4 heading into round 9. All the stats are reset, which honestly is unfortunate because there's some guys putting up some big numbers. What was it? Zethy was sitting at 11-4, I believe it was. Just absolutely crushing it, my friend. But it's time to get back in. Clean slate, start over. The guys who were negative, now they're sitting at 0-0 now. You see that basement played out, and we talked about 6 targets, really struggling on attack on Bank. They've answered back in a big way here on Chalet.
Yeah, evening things right back out 4-4. Now it comes down to forcing it on out, keeping this on going, finding yourself over on map 3. Consulates, you can find yourselves. SI LCQ closing this on out into the last round. It's just so much on the line right now. 6 targets, they're stepping on up to the plate. I'm gonna wonder, can we see that momentum continue? Can we see, honestly, Zethy on this glass continue to get away with quite literal murder of just picking off heads, picking off members of Team Anios?
Yeah, my guess is yes. I love the Mav Glass combo. We didn't really see an awful lot of that in year 10 season 3 so far in season 4, but it's a great one, right? The Mav tricking certainly changed up, not going to have that same impact that it did. A little bit more harder to kind of trick that wall, but they did make it a little bit easier, so you can it doesn't overheat as quickly. So I think there's some good changes on either side, but it's interesting. I thought maybe with the hard breachers getting so many buffs across the board that we might see a bigger change into attacker-sided maps, but overall, I think we're having a good balance at this point.
So you look at it, you're like, man, the meta's going very offensive-sided, and people were saying just because of the shields, and they're like, cool, well, let's just buff Thermite, and let's buff Hibana, and let's buff Maverick, and let's buff Thatcher, and let's not, I'm like, oh, so we're just trying to push our way right on through it in. Speaking of pushing right on through it in, it's Orion. Gets the opening pickup, man advantage for 6 targets.
Yeah, and taking down the Malusi, so at least all of her gadgets are down, but look at that, Orion takes another as the DMR meta claims, man, this time Bandit, so whether or not he got all of those charges down, no longer able to Bandit trick. That main wall's already open and held on, locked tight here by Zethy. So they do have a bulletproof cam in place to try and identify as soon as they push in through that main wall. But I love this lurk coming out here from the Solus. It's got to be Chef Jeff, and he gets one as a result. But it is a 2v4 scenario. But the 2 guys left alive have absolutely been crushing it on the Anios side. But it's their map pick. Who's going to pull it off?
Yeah, Prozopan, Chef Jeff, these guys are dominantly getting kills for Team Anios. Multi-kills per round, and now they just got to find the remaining 2. Chef Jeff did get spotted up because of that kill, but was able to rotate on around. So he's kind of chilling around this kitchen side. getting ready to come up right behind the offensive members. They know flashes do go on through. They have a spot.
Perfect
Diffuser
util.
going on down as well. Zethi gets the one on the Prosopan, so getting that kill streak going right on back. Diffuser gets stuck. Chef Jeff locked on out. Good luck, my friend. You got long angles against DMRs for days right now.
Yeah, he may be able to find one, maybe two, but yeah, that one was not going to work. This 6Targets attack team was absolutely locked in, and it was crazy to see the Glass holding the long angle off the main breach after they got that wall open. Usually it feels like a very exposed position, but 6Targets made it work. Struggle on attack on Bank into a legendary run at this point. 3 in a row. Now, this feels very familiar to Bank. Second half of the game, 6Targets, picks up and wins. Wins 3 in a row, 7, 8, and 9. They've done the same here, 7, 8, and 9. Ultimately, Team Anios came back and crushed it after that point, winning that map. But right now, it doesn't feel like they're having that same level of success. Team Anios feels like they're struggling a little bit more here on Chalet, on their map pick, which is certainly surprising.
No, it really does feel like, I mean, you had a 5-1 half on the
Attackers
Bank,
need to locate
got
and
back to
defuse
5-4.
bombs.
That was really cool that Team Anios was able to close things on out. I'm wondering if this second set of bans is going to create enough of an effect for Team Anios to be able to
Bomb
close this one
located
on
by
out. That
attackers.
Glass, we were talking about it for good reason too. It was putting in some crazy work. Zethi on Glass was putting in some crazy work. Good to see that removed, but that Thatcher still going to be a situational nullness that is, I'm going to say, come into play right here on Chalet as we see Bar Gaming get held once more. So that Thatcher going to lock anybody. Look at all those. Look at, you can literally see all the Jaegers over in the corner. That's all going to get taken on out. And then immediately 6Targets are going to push on in yet again with these Candelas, with the Lion Scan to make sure nobody pushes on in, with the Blitz to sit there and just run at whoever to make sure they can't shoot back. I'm just seeing a good, swift push here. That situation is going to turn into an every situation very quickly. Opposite side, the Malusi was getting picked off, but was able to get her gadgets on down. Not going to be an option for Team Anios.
Well, and I think that getting rid of the Malusi certainly benefits the way that 6Targets has been playing this their attacking round so far, moving pretty quickly. It was one of the things that was unsuccessful for the most part on Bank as well, but they're just having tons more success here on Chalet. Feels like maybe because it's a little bit smaller, tighter engagements, that's working in their favor. So I'm going to continue to push this one. Thatcher's not going to make the appearance, though, as they swap off onto the Nook as the alternative. And, you know, seeing Nook push in through the basement, super common play here on Chalet, and they've got the barbed wire in place and a couple cams down there to give that position away, but she is using her gadget to make sure, hopefully, getting through the basement undetected.
Hopefully nobody's spot too on out when you're making these kind of backdoor plays, trying to sneak up like the assassin you want to be to come up behind the enemy team. It's going to be very slow, very methodical. But if you can pull this on off, man, is it brutal when you're sitting there so focused on the engage, the smokes, the flashes coming on through, and somebody comes up right behind you and puts a bullet in the back of your skull. Candelas the flash, the walls get blocked on, off by the Aurora gates, the Blitz runs on through, but Prosopan ends up locking him on down. Shaz gets one himself, 5-3, 3-4. Now as Zethi ends up getting Chef Jeff in response. The mute off the board, but man advantage still for the defense with halfway of the round to go.
Anybody other than Warden obviously loses that battle. The Candelas are going crazy. The smokes, the Aurora gadgets, the Blitz pushing up. He absolutely, anybody else besides Warden loses that battle. So that was just absolutely perfectly played. And look at this, not recognizing that you still had a Rooney playing in the corner of Library is wild. 6Targets just making a couple mistakes here, pushing up on the Warden, not identifying the player in Library, and leaving it all up to a Nook at the end in a 1v4.
That slow, patient, methodical rotate. Well, guys, I'm here. I'm ready to join the party. Guys?
I was supposed to be the flank, not the primary, not the entry.
Just gotta push his way on up now into the mess that is waiting for him. Team Anios, I mean, they just got this one on lockdown. And we said, you know, 7, 8, 9 went over to 6Targets, and then after that, Team Anios, well, look what happened right now. 7, 8, 9, and Team Anios, they claim 10.
I'm not saying I wanted that to happen, but kind of crazy. I'm just looking at it. I'm the stats guy. And
bit into
you take a
existence.
look at the stats and the undeniable parallels we saw between Bank and Chalet at this point. It's just telling that that Team Anios is going to find a win here on this map. Now, can 6Targets turn this thing around, right? They feel like when they've got a little bit of confidence, they can carry that forward.
Attackers need to
And then
locate
if
and
it starts to
defuse as many
fall
bombs as
apart,
they
you know,
can.
I'd love to hear some of the comms going on their side. What's that
Attackers have
mental
located
like,
a
right?
bomb.
Some of the teams, when they start to lose that mental, start to fall apart. It falls apart very quickly. So I want to see that resilience coming in from 6Targets. Team Anios, yeah, they're looking to shut it down here on defense. They're going to play the kitchen. Now, look back, they played it on round 8, and it was a 6Targets win. And it's one of the things we talked about on Bank as well, is that Anios did a great job of adapting.
10
They
seconds to
saw
go.
out the 6Targets, won those first 3 rounds, adapted to work around it. They were just better than 6Targets at adapting when you saw those same rounds played out. So love to see what they're going to pull off here. A lot of that static, you know, the area denial utility and the combination of the Goyo and the smoke, very effective overall. But the information from the Solus here has been pretty successful.
It's been really good. There's 2 things really in particular that stood out to me in the last round. Number 1, okay, we didn't clear out the library player. We were hyping up like crazy. I know I was hyping up like crazy this Thatcher pickup and how amazing it was. And you were too sitting there saying, look at that. You can knock out 6 gadgets at once in a single go. You know, it was nice. It was cool. I didn't see that. I didn't see the Thatcher pickup. I do see it here though, so it's gonna be really nice, although nobody's playing up there, so you don't really gotta worry about that. The second thing, Zethy on that long rotate wasn't where Zethy was when Zethy was playing the glass. Where was Zethy? Right in the middle, right in the front line, involved in the engage, involved in the crossfire. When you're making that long rotate, you have that 5th man who's just not present. So I do think those are 2 factors that really stand true for how that offensive push went. If you're going to fit something else in that spot, you got to make sure it fills that role that you need on your roster. 60 seconds off the clock and a steady push up coming in from 6Targets.
Yeah, they've made the transition over from the office, from the library side of the map over onto the piano side very quickly. So they've sort of locked in most of this defense over on that side of the map. So it's trapped them into a very small scenario. And Orion is the first beneficiary of that, taking down the bandit. So they've got that main wall open upstairs. They've cleared out the top of piano. It's really just Prozapan holding down in the basement. That's the huge opportunity to lurk advance. Just as I say his name, takes it down the thermite, and oh wow, absolutely fried. Orion goes down after picking up 3. That's a huge pick here for this team. 6Targets has got to lock in.
1-2 swing, and now you're in a battle against the Solis, just sitting up here in the bathroom. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
The SMG-12 is just too damn good.
One back in his favor. Look at that, a 1-2 swing right back in 6Targets' favor as Bailey ends up getting Chef. Jeff Bailey gets a double kill on the Prozapan, the 2 kill leaders. Bailey refragged by Shaz. 1 versus 2. Your girlfriend's calling. She wants to know where you're at. She wants to lock one down. Shots raining through the soft walls. Shaz gets it onto Kid.
No
It's
way.
a 1 versus 1 scenario versus Zethy. Pushing on through, coming up right behind him. They're all running around. W key, shift W right now through the master
Oh, got the
bedroom.
diffuser
The
too.
drops on down. He's on site. 15 seconds left here on the clock. He's going for the plant. He hears the chance, reach through the floor, doesn't get it, gets the
No
shot down,
way.
He knocks it on down. Another round going back over towards the defender, and it looks like Team Anios sends us over to map point, series point.
Man, you said it. Not just map point, but map point, match point, and here we are. Open qualifier number 2, last chance LCQ point. 1 round away from taking the whole damn thing and sending them to closed. 6Targets now. They've got to be perfect for 1 to send this to overtime to try and pick up just a map on Team Anios. Man, what a great play. Some crazy shots in that. I thought 6Targets were going to pull it off, but
Attackers need to
man,
locate and
a
defuse bombs.
unbelievable clutch there from Shaz at the end. And Chef at the end just shutting it down.
He was Six targets, they get the initial pick. It was like, great, okay, cool. And then it was bam, 1-2 swing right in Team Anios' favor. Like, oh, okay. I guess they're gonna hold this on down and be really nice. And then it was bam, 1-2 swing right back in Six Targets' favor. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess you're just gonna play with my emotions right now. That's exactly what you're gonna do. 5-6 though, Team Anios. They just need this one to lock it on down. Go home. Everybody kind of has a good night kind of situation for Team Anios. 6 Targets fans and 6 Targets players not gonna feel too good about this one. You finished third place in LCQ 1, and now you're gonna get knocked out in second place here in the qualifier number 2. You've got to make sure you just pull this on together. They're showing us the potential. They're showing us the gun skill. They're showing us the strategy, the positioning. They're getting on in there. It's just the little things that are really holding them back right now as we get a final, essentially, 3 minutes of this series.
All right, my friend. First 30 seconds is done. See this set up, and take a look at all those blue outlines this time on Library. They are locked in. 4 players there. Feels a little bit one-dimensional. We talked about that being a struggle for this team that felt like they were just not putting enough pressure around the map, and Team Anios was winning those gunfights. But also we said, don't take the individual engagements. You know, play the buddy system. Stack up on top of these defenders to try and win some 2v1 scenarios. That part I like. Working on gaining control over here on the top of the mez. Yeah, W play.
Situations that really didn't work out well for Team Anios over in the last time they were up here on the second floor site. That entire master bedroom wall with the Maverick glass situation. Sure, you have the glass, that's one of the factors. But Team Anios, they opened up the wall themselves. They created the head hole so that they can go and shoot you through them. Bailey gets one onto Shaz. Razor ends up getting one onto Kid. So a 1-for-1 scenario. We're halfway through the round. Push on in those Ella Christmas. Not fun to end up facing when you're trying to rush on in.
Minute 30, man, this is getting intense. 6 targets. We are talking about 1 round away. They have got to be perfect here. They're moving, but maybe not quickly enough. Team Anios is a little bit spread out right now. You're talking about holding on to piano, office, bar, and there it is. The Capitao taking some shots inside sight. They need to get this office player done, and then they're going to have to worry about downstairs. No, they're going to have to try and push in piano to clear out 2 players, backed up by the ADSs.
Razor gone. Orion getting that pickup. Wall getting over on off. Jeff is close to the wall. Gets Zephy refragged by Nico. 3 versus 4. Okay, Wall of Wizardry. Wall of Wizardry goes on down.
Wow,
Orion,
wow.
A triple kill for Orion. We're going to overtime.
Orion showing up when he needed to. We talked about the multi-kill potential. He's one of the guys that opened that up very early on, round 2 with the 3K back on bank. Let's say his name one more time with the 3K here to send his team to overtime. Man, Team Anios, they had a decent run in rounds 10 and 11, but 6 targets have just showed up when they needed to. 7, 8, and 9, and 12, all the rounds they needed. Now, as we head into round 13, first round of overtime, we're going to see a first floor site again. This Team Anios defense really loved the first floor sites and generally were pretty successful. They lost the second floor and they lost basement. Other than that, they were fairly successful across the board on the first floor. So, 6 targets. Can they pull off a little bit of magic again?
I'm seeing some rather different operators coming into the 6 targets lineup. The IQ. When Thatcher's an option, I just feel like Thatcher's just better IQ right now. It's like, oh, okay, here's all the gadgets, and then I'm just going to take them all out as well. The Deimos, though, I find this one really interesting. I really like Deimos. I've talked to some pro players. They talk about the Deimos. They say, hey, if you've got the gun skill, this is the information operator for you. 1v1, let me just run you on down and try to get these guys picked off. And that's kind of something that you're really looking for if you have that kind of potential to be able to shoot through the beams, find the perfect head holes, get those pixel peeks through, or even just shooting through the soft walls like we saw back over on Bank all that time ago. I want to say one of the early rounds on Bank where we saw the soft wall just straight through the soft wall off the ping. Those kind of options become very relevant to you when you're playing this kind of operator. It looks like they are going to swap off the IQ, lock in the Thatcher this time around, so they decide for better IQ 2.0 instead.
Yeah, honestly, that's a great call. And I'm same as you. Love the Deimos pick, especially when you got a team that is good at playing the vertical. Deimos so good at that piece of it. So you're going to have to work upstairs, hold on to this piece. Lots of focus on the library, both on the defensive and the offensive side of it. So holding a couple angles. Going to have to burn some of these Aruni gates, but there it is. The fire going to rain down on top, but no way, just barely misses. How has Aruni survived that, holding on to just the corner? That is well played on her part, and this nade is going to have to be perfect. And oh man, he almost ended up with the nade in his pocket going off. Look at
Watch
this.
himself out of that. Yep.
No
Fire's
way.
ripping on through the explosions. He's just sitting here. He's just chilling. That nade is gonna force him on down. Drop right.
Finally.
Gunfire. Bailey gets that one by a razor. That's all they needed to flush this guy on out of there. But we saw how many members of 6Targets put emphasis on that in the last round. Put emphasis on it in this round. We're able to get him cleared on out. They still have half the round to go. Aruni gates off of the site, cleared on the way. They're ready to push themselves right on through and in.
I mean, Sen's getting set up for a little bit of a quick execute there. You can hear the calls going out. He's got the diffuser in hand, just waiting for the call to say they've got the hold on the library space above to be able to go for the plant on big window. He's just ready, waiting to hop in. Chef Jeff, though, going to take down Zethi. That was that play I think that they were hoping for, a little bit of the flank coming out from the Dokkaebi. So they do not have the control that they needed. Chef Jeff comes in big, and look at this. Yeah, they're blocking off this wall. Are they going to try for that plant right now? Man, so close to the execute.
I was asking if they had any idea that this Dokkaebi was just pushing right on in, but maybe Chef Jeff is just better and just is him and just swings and is like, oh, somebody's right here. Cool. Let me just get that pixel.
That's the one they needed.
Shaz goes on down as well. There goes your Jaeger. Bailey
They know
ends up
about
getting that
Prozapan.
4 versus 3 scenario right against the site, right against the bomb. Shots into the upstairs. Bailey gets one. Nico gets one. 4 versus 1. Triple kill for Bailey. Gets knocked on down. Refranked by Wall of Wizardry. 3-1 scenario. Wall of Wizardry goes to Nico. And it's going to be advantage for 6Targets.
Holy hell. That looked like a Team Anios win. They had a little bit of the advantage coming in, had sort of stalled out that attack. Prozapan was in play to try and stop the jump in as soon as it was ready, but man, completely fell apart, my friend.
6Targets are 1 point away. All they got to do is lock this down on the defense. They're opting for second floor, master bedroom, and office to maybe close this one on out. Maybe take us over to map number 3. Team Anios, they got to push in. They got to go swift. They got to be able to break apart the momentum
Attackers
right
need to
now.
locate and
That
defuse
6Targets
bombs.
have created. I mean, 6Targets on this second half has just been a completely different 6Targets than I think we've seen out of map number 1 entirely in the first half of map number 2.
Yeah, 100%. This is a completely different team. After the rehost, they have shown up in a big way, right? We saw the Team Anios pick up round 10 and 11, and what seemed like the difference, the momentum shift that was necessary. Since that point, 6Targets have absolutely just locked in.
10
And
seconds to go.
you know what? I 100% called them out for not playing great on
5 seconds
attack,
left.
on bank, and expected them not to carry it forward into Chalet on Team Anios map pick. But today, right now, it's looking like we are going to trade map picks.
We're gonna eat our words.
I know. Yeah, no, I was wrong. I'm going to call it right now. I was just absolutely wrong. 6Targets heard me and answered back and said, no, we can and will play attack on this map.
I was gonna tweet longer about this later. Look, I understand my words may not have been entirely truthful during the recent cast, but I apologize to the 6Targets community for everything that I said. You know what? They're showing up, and they're looking really good at that. Now it comes down to closing it out and finding yourself over on Consulate on map number 3. Smooth, steady, get on in, dismantle Team Anios' offense. But Zethi, your person who was absolutely dominating on that glass pick, just ate about 70% of his health bar.
Yeah, huge loss there to lose, just give up some of your life early on. Yeah, I mean, you're only a minute into this thing, but not the way it wants to go down. Rosapan, he's really struggled. I won't say struggled is the right word. He's been right place, right time, but has not found some of the same success that he did on the previous map again. So, whether or not he's locked in, just has not found some of those same spots. The smaller feel here on this map feels like it's just really playing into the 6Targets playstyle.
And that 1-2 just like that. 2 members of 6Targets off the board. Kid gets 1 round of Razor. So 1 back. That's going to be nice. Let's out with the 4, but still man advantage. Gone. All of Wizardry gets dropped again as well. A double kill for the Azami. 3 versus 3, a little bit of damage into Prosopan as well. One of the other kill dominators for Team Anios, but Chef Jeff still on the board as a triple kill for Kid. The Azami
wow.
now as Chef Jeff is off the board. Prosopan
wow.
on the ground.
No way.
For Kin right now. It's all up to Shaz. Kin wants the ace. Running around, moving quick. Nico's gonna lock it on down. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to Consulate.
Wow. Overtime. Map 3 required. 6Targets showed up at the last moment when they said it was time. Ready. Bailey, the guy that picks up the MVP after the rehost. GG to 6Targets. Team Anios, it is time to step it up, my friend. Wow, we have taken us late into the night here in North America. The North America casting team here, we wanted to make sure we picked up and that gave the opportunity for the OCE and APL lovers out there to get a chance to see this final game. It is the grand final here for the Open Qualifier number 2, the winner moving on to closed quals in OCE. So, 1 more map required though, my friend. 2 was not enough. It's going to take all 3 in the best of 3.
I signed up for this. Nobody told me we had a game on our hands,
Yeah, yo.
We had a series here. Nobody said, yeah, I get it, grand finals, all of the SI LCQ. Yeah, now these 2 teams are definitely showing up, and I'll be entirely honest. 6Targets, they've surprised me in the second half of Chalet, just
100%.
now on that second map. They completely just turned their gameplay around. They're clicking heads, they're moving through, they're getting swift, they're getting active, they're staying calm, cool, collective. Now, map 3. Run. What's going to happen on Consulate?
Consulate is a big map, right? This is a map that I think favors, again, the playstyle that matches better with Team Anios. It felt like when 6Targets could constrain and really force this team into a much smaller engagements, that was the places where they were picking up wins. On those long angles that favored the better gunners, Team Anios had a little bit of an advantage. So they've managed to trade on each other's map picks. Still too close to call right now, so I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to need map 3 to figure out which way this one is going to go. Short break before we're back in, but this is it. The final map in the best of 3 to decide who's going to closed qualifiers. It's the SI LCQ here in OCE. What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. Map 3 required, all of them to get to the end. It's come down to a best of 1 though on Consulate. Man, Zach, what a game so far. We're talking about SI, last chance qualifier, OCE. Here you go. Who's going to pull it off, my friend?
I'm not surprised that it came down to this. I would say after game number 1, I want to say over on Bank, I am a little surprised. But
100%.
When you look at it from the start, you're like, okay, you know what? It's SI LCQ. This is really big. This is grand finals. You stack all these things together, all these funny little acronyms and words and whatnot, and you're like, yeah, I guess we got to go the distance. Yeah, I guess we got to go all 15. Yeah, I guess we're going to be seeing you over and over time on map number 3, Consulate run.
That's right. It is time for Consulate, and here we go. This one is one we got to see this earlier in the matchup between in the AGL. We were showcasing one of the T4 leagues here in Siege before hopping into the SI LCQs. And Consulate was a good map. Good map, good battle between these teams, and the thing about it is, plays out like a much bigger map. You don't get some of those pinch points that you do in Clubhouse, that you do in in Chalet. So I think this may favor, we talked about it, Team Anios and the open style of play and the gunning that they have. So they're going to start on attack as we get into the decider. When we talk about it, came down to the final two maps, Nighthaven or Consulate, and Team Anios
Attackers need to
decided to
locate and
ban
defuse
out
bombs.
Nighthaven to finish this thing out. So that tells me that they at least feel more comfortable here on this map. And if this favors their playstyle, then 6Targets is going to have to
Bomb
play
located
just a
by
bit harder. Now, we talked about it. Yeah, they finished third in qualifier number 1. It is down to the final game, the final map, qualifier number 2.
You know, and I'm looking at it too. I'd rather go to Consulate myself, maybe because, you know, I see Nighthaven all the time in my comp matches I watch. I don't play comp. The comp matches that I watch, that I spectate, that I cast, I see Nighthaven all the time. I mean, I'm pretty sure I did one entire tournament where it was quite literally everything was like, we're going to Nighthaven. And I'm like, great, what happens in the next round? We're going to Nighthaven. And I'm like, oh, let me guess for round number 3. Sure enough, it was Nighthaven all day. And it was like, oh man, I wonder what we're going to do. You know, teams see it as just a very safe option. But when I look at Consulate, this is a map that's been around for a long time. It's seen several iterations as a result. And, well, we've seen several iterations of who gets pressure early. And right now, it's Kin who gets a double kill.
Are you kidding me?
Right off the rip, spawn peak double kill for Kin. Closed out map number 2, and now it's just been an absolute menace.
Okay, that, yeah, completely unexpected there. I did think that we were going to see the defense put a little bit of extra pressure here on the attacking team, but to walk away with 2 picks in the first 30 seconds of the match is wild. That shows, you know what, that could be a devastating mental game here for this attacking team. So Team Anios, look at that, expecting the C4. They don't need the Thatcher to try and deny. Just go ahead and shoot it out of the air. Man, Wall of Wizardry was absolutely on fire, but he's going to have to be, because right now him and Eraser are going to have to carry themselves in the 2v5 to the end.
Wall of Wizardry eating some more damage as well. Totally spotted out. I really liked what I saw. Seeing Wall of Wizardry just push on up and just try to get aggressive, take map position. But gonna go on down ultimately, and Eraser gonna get one back on the Kin. Bailey ends up getting one finally to close it on out. But only one member of your defense dropped. Only one member of 6Targets went on down. That was such a dominant opener for 6Targets, and honestly a statement.
Now, I feel like, you know, basically 2 opening picks, the spawn peaks there early on, put them at a significant advantage. So, yes, it's a statement, but I think you got to take it in context of Team Anios has got to be a little bit more careful approaching the map, and it's going to force them to play a little bit slower throughout this entire match, right? I don't think we're going to see them up close and personal with this building in the first 10 seconds. As a result of it, they are going to be more cautious, and this defense can absolutely exploit that added time. The Vigil in play again. I'm wondering whether or not that was going to be a big difference maker here. Yeah, Kin, he found 3 on that round and felt like he was on a pace for the ace before getting those final couple kills stolen. But honestly, it didn't matter. The team won that round.
It was good, clean, collective. 6Targets being able to walk away with that one. And honestly, if I'm Kin, start punching holes in windows. Let me just give this phantom pressure to you. Make you think, even if I'm not looking for the spawn, let me make you think I am. But I did hear a little bit of a window crack go on one side, and I do see Bale on a camera, has the Boss G ready in hand. He's looking around, just trying to see if he can find anybody. I guarantee this guy might be looking for something himself. But a nice, steady, slow pace. Like you mentioned, Team Anios, they're not going to approach the map too quickly, understanding that 6Targets want to do this. Ultimately, honestly, round number 1, getting those spawn kills makes the rest of your defensive rounds just waste 10 seconds for nothing, 15 seconds for nothing, just because Team Anios thinks you might spawn pink.
I thought we might see the C4 come out over top of that main breach. Has been very effective in ranked and competitive play across the board, especially with the rise of the C4. But none come out, and that's going to be that main wall open, main breach done. That's a huge job there for the Thermite and Wall of Wizardry. They pulled that off. Great way to open this thing up. And you know what? Keeping all 5 alive is a great way to open this thing up, at least to start. Now that was a second floor win upstairs. Gonna go for the basement, and again, it feels like they are approaching just a little bit slower this time around. And oh wow, a little bit of siege timing there, so close. There it is. Chef Jeff just annihilated. Right place, right time as he goes 4-1.
Kin gets one, Prozapan gets one in response onto Orion, so a nice 1-for-1. Man advantage, but Kin gets a double kill again. Razor this time gonna go on and down. Now, shots through the four wall of Wizardry is low. Shaz ate a little bit of damage, so did Bale, so did Kin, so only a couple, little bit going both ways. Kin ultimately shut down by Shaz. Smoke rips on through. That's gonna slow down the offensive pressure as man advantage has been evened out.
Nice shooting there, taking down Bailey. Big kill. Now we're into a 3v2. And take a look at this. The thermite charges up top. Since he's got 3 of the exothermics in play. Prozapan, there it is. 3-1. Putting down a claymore as well. That's the diffuser going down. We're seeing Smoke play upstairs looking for this, but damn, that was perfectly timed. But way too many offensive guns in play.
Just oh hi, how are you? Let me just go up here, kill your teammate, and try to back on up right through the giant opening in the wall. Well, there we go. A bike back around for Team Anios, and what felt like good pressure instantly yet again from 6Targets. They got the opening pick on Chef Jeff, who was still outside the building. Immediately responded onto Orion, so a nice little 1-for-1 that just ended up continuously going in favor of Team Anios. Now, how's this next one gonna go? You spawn peeked us once, you worked out. You spawn peeked us
Defenders,
twice.
protect your bombs from being
Worked
defused
out.
by attackers.
Spawn peek us. Fool me 3 times? Is that on the list here? Let me check. Fool me once, 12 blood, fool me twice, shame on me. Okay, fool
Bomb
me once.
located by attackers.
Nope. What happens then? I was gonna say game crashes, but you can't put that kind of energy out into the world at this point. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're tied up 1-1. Not going to see the tertiary yet because the defense gets the opportunity to go back downstairs to the basement after a great run for the attackers. They played upstairs. I thought we were seeing a pretty spread out defense here from 6Targets on that previous round. You had players upstairs on the second floor, first floor, very spread out overall. And again, we talk about a spread out map where Team Anios can take some of those longer shots. They made that work for them. This is one that feels like it could go either way, but overall favors that the gunners on this team. So 6Targets is trying to answer back. Bailey, though, going to continue to run that vigil and making me wonder whether or not we're going to see a target ban on it one more time. Once again, that basement wall gets opened up, and you take a look at it. Nobody holding on to that basement site, and thanks for the observer for highlighting that, with the exception of Bailey with just the Boss G over on the side. A little bit of overwhelming force to try to go for maybe a smoked off plant very quickly, I think would be very successful right now.
I think it's one of those things where 6Targets are looking at it and they're like, okay, we let the Thatcher through. So what's even the point of even trying to hold this on down? Team Anios, they pick up the Thatcher on top of the fact that there is no actual breach denial coming in from 6Targets. So it's going to be like, all right, cool, you got the Thatcher, so it's going to deny anything we do try to bring in. You're just going to open up the wall anyways. It's just going to be a waste of time, a waste of effort. Let's put our efforts elsewhere. They're not even holding in this garage. We see head holes set on up. We see them playing outside of the area. They're just looking for members and looking for Kin, seeing if this guy's gonna try to spawn peek us again. Eraser gets the opening pickup on the Kin in response, and talk about siege timing right there. One walks through the door as the other one crouches through the hole.
Yeah, that's wild how close you can get in this case. But wow, a couple huge picks coming out here from the Team Anios side. Eraser's upstairs looking. Yeah, you get the smoke going off, but again, all this action happening upstairs on that first floor. There's an opportunity there for this attacking team to get that plant downstairs, while Bridger just got to get in position to pull that off. He's got the diffuser in hand. A little bit of distraction happening all across this map, but nobody in the basement, and there it is.
Ryan down, Zethy down, Eraser, Chef Jeff get those pickups, and the diffuser down as well. All up to Nico. The Lone Legion, 5 goo mines in hand, in pocket, and well, now he's got a couple bullets into Chef Jeff as well, but he's got 30 seconds to reclaim site against 4 members of Team Anios. If you just spread out and conquer, I don't blame you for that one, honestly. Maybe you get lucky, maybe you get somebody, then we make it a 1 versus 3 scenario. Speaking
Holy
of
cow!
1 versus 3 scenario, gets Wall of Wizardry. 17 seconds though, has to get downstairs, has to get towards his diffuser, going around the back way, trying to come his way on and through. A 6 goo mine in pocket, spotted on out through the Aruni gate. We'll spread it out too nicely. Maybe you can get somebody. A Razor ends up closing it on out though. Another round for Team Anios as we make our way to the second ban phase.
Yeah, that first quarter is done, and it was honestly dominated, especially in the basement, by the Team Anios attack. 6Targets really struggling to get anything going, and you called it out. Dying with utility in your pocket, right? Legion had 6 goo mines at the end of that thing. What in the world was he thinking, not using any of those, trying to, give his team a little bit of intel, slow some things down? I mean, there was plenty of opportunity there, but just felt like a huge miss. And wow, the Vigil target ban one more time as Team Anios, or as 6Targets loses the ability to play the Vigil. On the other side, though, Ace was very successful from Team Anios and Eraser. So taking the Ace away, I think, certainly helps them out now. Wall of Wizardry was very successful on his side of playing the Thermite, so I don't think from a hard breach perspective, from a wall opening perspective, that really took anything away from Team Anios.
No, I don't really. I'm looking towards how the wall breach was getting opened up. I honestly think while we were talking about the phantom pressure of the spawn peak and the way that Ken was creating that kind of pressure in the earlier rounds, just having that main wall open on Garage twice in a row, that the way that Team Anios was able to do, to me, that's phantom pressure on its own. To me, I look at that and I'm like, cool, this is open. Somebody might be here at any time, or the diffuser might come through here at any time. It's always something that's going to be in the back of your head, honestly, in the forefront of your mind, to be honest. When you're sitting there and try to push your way on through, try to run on past. Oh, no, I don't. The wall is open. Oh, here, let me run on the. No, can't. The wall is open. You know, all these things play into a factor into your mind. Or we're all on the backside trying to hold off the back and hold off the back staircase, and bam, the diffuser just makes its way on through nice and quickly, and they just get it off. These are all things that you got to think about. So I'm a little bit wondering if we go back down to the basement. If it happens, do we look towards the region denial? Or does it not matter?
All right, as we get into it, that 30 seconds is done. Taking a couple of shots, jumping in some of these windows, and again, playing upstairs, very spread out here. You can take a look. I want the question for me is, right, are these C4s going to hit? I love the fact that
is the
Valve
greatest
is holding on. This is
moment
one of those
in my
spots
life, bro.
that we have seen, like, the effort from the defense, from the attack, to make sure that C4 hits, and Valkyrie completely caught unaware. Eraser was having a crazy game so far playing on the Ace, and you know what? It wasn't the op. He pulls off some of that same magic running the Lion.
Down goes the Valkyrie, going to be cycling through your cameras now, not going to be able to get that nitro off. Approaching halftime here in the round. Team Anios, they have a good execution style team comp with this Lion and Ying combination that they have, but they're going to be playing Hunter Killer with Chef Jeff on that Deimos, trying to track down the members of the defense who are lurking around a little bit off site, a little bit over here, a little bit over there. Maybe we can just spot them on out and push our way on in. Lion scan comes on through. No push, though, from Team Anios. Taking this one nice and steady after they have man advantage.
Man, again, feel like this attacking team's stalling out just a bit. Yeah, they picked up that opening pick off the Valkyrie, but what is happening at this point? Feels like it's sort of stalled. They're making that push over to cross the vending hallway, but have not really gained any significant piece of control otherwise. Still got to playing outside on the main walls. You can see the blue outlines is now finally trying to gain a little bit of space at the top spiral, and man, that was huge. Taking down Orion, but a triple there from Bailey comes out, and what the heck happened with 6Targets cleaning this thing up?
It collapsed. You know, nice little collapsible table you keep over in your living room for dinner, you know? Sitting in front of the TV while you're... Do people still have TV tables? Or is that just me? Is that a thing anymore? I don't know. You know, everybody's got their phones and whatnot now. You bring the TV to the table. Big difference.
You know what?
6Targets, they evened it out though.
Yeah, you can watch from anywhere at this point, and that was a huge one, right? Team Anios had the basement on lockdown. There was nothing that 6Targets could do to try and win down on that site. But the inverse is true for upstairs. 6Targets winning that second floor both times we got to see it played. And honestly, I thought that Team Anios had a significantly better run that time around. They had made a good adaptation, but it fell apart in the end. It felt like they had gained complete control over on the admin side, working the admin side overtake, and then fell apart. So now, not going to run the basement side again. 6Targets says, forget that. We're going to run that first floor side, see the piano side here, and rather than run the split side. And stacking up on the ADSs upstairs, significant players, significant utility holding on to the second floor, expecting some of that vertical play here from Anios.
Absolutely. I mean, 6Targets, they got that second floor on lockdown. They're going to be playing the vertical. They're going to be watching those windows. They're going to be holding out upstairs. Look at that. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 members, 3 members on the second floor, just chilling, 2 even close to sight, even in the remote area of sight. If Team Anios even spots that, I'd be moving on in nice and swiftly, but hey, it's just kind of me personally. Match underway, round number 5 to find out who's going to hit that breakaway point. Is it going to be 6Targets? Have they found their stride? Have they found the answer that they were looking for? Or Team Anios about to fight back, make some adaptations they were looking for? The BP tries to catch a drone. Unsuccessful, though.
I mean, they were very successful on that on Bank. We got to see that crazy interaction with the Flores. I mean, it was like just absolutely locked in. So this time you said it, unsuccessful. But trying the admin overtake again this time around. And they're making a little bit of pressure, opening up now this main breach, running the can openers, and stacked 10 alive in the lobby as that first minute goes down. Doesn't happen all that often between these two teams, and feels like 6Targets has sort of backed off some of those crazy early defensive engagements that they were seeing. They, taking a little bit of step back because they don't need to apply that pressure every single round. They've done enough to slow down Team Anios across the board.
You just need to think that I'm going to apply that pressure every single round. Nate pushes on through, tries to force one on out. He's going to force one on out. Nico bullets into Prozapan's head, going to knock him on out of there. Step rotating back around, impact out of the floor, looking for somebody, not finding anyone though. Jumps through the opening in the breach. Smokes going out to delay about 1:15 left here on the clock, and definitely a slowdown coming in from 6Targets. But Shaz gets himself a double kill onto Nico.
Wow.
Ryan, man advantage, swings to the offense.
No way. I thought he was going to win that battle, but the C4 is going to take one down, and this time he hits one of those Legion goo mines, but we're sitting in a 3v3. 45 seconds left. Most of the defensive utility opened up at this point, but all the action again happening upstairs on that second floor. They still have to make the transition down to the first to actually get the plant down if they can't manage to take down everybody. It's still 2 players on the first floor for the defense.
I'll be honest, I forgot that the plant needed to go downstairs. There's been so much pressure up on this second floor. Still so much pressure on this second floor. Kenny's sitting right around all 3 of us. Remember, sitting right there.
No
Shot
way.
into 1 and a
What a
2.
legend.
Drops
What a
1,
legend.
drops all 3. He gets them all. It is him.
A triple to close out the round. The man is absolutely on fire, and a lack of intel from the Team Anios side. They looked like they were getting ready for the drop and completely missed the shotgun holding around the corner. And 6Targets specifically, Ken punishes them for it. Wow, what a game so far. If you're just joining us, welcome in, everyone. It is the OCE Open Qualifier number 2 Grand Final. The winner moving on to the closed qualifier in the OCE region. Yeah, we wanted to check this one out. The Siege double shot bringing all of the regions if possible here to the 6 Invitational Last Chance qualifiers. We will be live back 1 p.m. Eastern, which is not that far away right now as we're thinking about it. For the NA Open qualifiers, we're going to be following the LFO team. And, got a chance to see Envy win it last weekend. 1 more spots available And is the pro team going to make their way into that SI LCQ, or is it going to be one of the upstarts? One of the T3, T2 teams looking to make a name for themselves coming in. We're going to see that on the NA side at 1 p.m. later today.
So excited. Gonna be keeping all the eyes on that. And hey, everybody at home, you should be doing the same, because comp of your favorite game. If it's not your favorite game, why would you be out here at 3 in the morning for NA? At least for us, we're sitting here enjoying some Rainbow Six Siege, having a great time. Round number 6, the last round of the first half of the last map on the decider here on Consulate right now. Right now, Team Anios are pushing up nice and steady, taking this at a much slower pace, just trying to lock down the members of 6Targets, because 6Targets have proven time and time again, they'll play aggressive, they'll push on forward, and they'll knock you on down to try to get, well, look at that, a nitro over the wall that we haven't seen all game.
Yeah, it was like looking to catch this team off guard. Well played there from the 6Target side to try, again, switch it up, be a little bit inventive, even though that's sort of the standard play. They had not run that strategy several rounds in a row, and it felt like that was, you know, a little bit of a change in the way it was going to be played. But Nico, man, right place, right time, a double as a result of it on that window, goes for the run out, wins that battle, and absolutely shuts down Team Anios. Wow, now you're talking about a 5v2 scenario. This defense, they are absolutely on fire, and even though we saw them really struggle as a part of that bank map at the end of it, they have come alive. After winning overtime, Chalet 8-6, they're carrying that momentum here into the Consulate, and right now looking like the team to beat.
5v2, and I'm going to say it really quickly. Look at the HP bars for 6Targets. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, the fact that you see, that's why I didn't save that point. Okay, the other point I was going to make, the 2 remaining members for the offense, the Thatcher and the Thermite, you know exactly where they are, where they're going to be pushing from. It's up to 6Targets to hold this one on down, but they lost Orion and Bailey. A lot of damage, though, into Wall of Wizardry, and Shaz spotted on out on site as Wall of Wizardry gets down but not out, finished on off. There's the last down. He goes. Kin and Zethi close that one on down, close out the first half. It's a 4-2 for the defense for 6Targets.
Well, and it's 6Targets with 3 rounds in a row again, man. They pull off the triple, close out the end of the first half. They win all 3 bomb sites in rotation in a row, and carry some momentum onto their attacking half. We expected this to be a little bit stronger defensive-sided map. Consulate is generally pretty defensive-sided. Even talking with some of the pro teams and T2 teams at Philly last weekend, they talked about it. It not quite on the skyscraper level, but certainly defensive-sided. And a good team setup can be very difficult to try and make some space on. So, gives the advantage here to Team Anios. But 6Targets did the work. They put in the work, got the results. Now, as the bans come in, we're going to lose the Mira and Malusi, is one that 6Targets really does not like to have to deal with. I think they've banned Malusi on all of their attacking halves so far.
They try to push in and get aggressive. We saw how that really didn't work out for them over on Bank. We saw over on map number 2 on Chalet when they tried to get in and get aggressive. There were Malusi gadgets all around. It slowed them down. Ban that one away. I don't see the problem banning that away right here. The big question in the air for me, though,
need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Are you leaving Glaz on the table after we saw what happened with Zethi on that pickup? Now, switching over, they're going to be on offense. The Glaz is an option. There are definitely good long angles here on this map, on Consulate, in order to abuse that Glaz pickup. I wouldn't be surprised to see it. He does opt for a different DMR right now. Might the Dokebi going to be a good option for them, but think about it when you go down to the basement site. Are we going to see the Maverick Glaz come on out to just get some people off, to just go for a nice quick blank? These are all things that just circle in my head of like,
10 seconds
is
to
this
go.
going to be a potential? Look at him. Look at him. There we go. I willed it into existence.
5 seconds left before insertion.
I don't like it here anymore.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
He showed me the glass. I got excited about it. He took it away from me. As easily as I got hyped up, I just got torn right back down.
Classic caster cursing, talking about the attacking operators before that timer hits 0. Yeah, they always do it to us. But the one that I like here on the attacking side, Brava. Talked an awful lot about her during that Chalet match, and oh no, look at that. You got to stay close enough to be able to grab that gadget, my friend. But the combination of the Brava and the Twitch, they're really looking to make sure that they clear out all of this defensive utility. But you know what they forgot? The default. Man, Team Anios just has all of the intel on the repellers. I am honestly looking for a little bit of a run out at this point, maybe to punish them for getting the default.
You see some defenders kind of chilling around, not going to get a run out, but a Nitro rips on through, tries to get it quick on the offensive member, pushing on swiftly into that admin office. They don't get the lockdown onto him. A little bit of damage, though, into Bailey is not going to slow them on down in the slightest. A little over 60 seconds off the clock. Going to pop open the can openers, gain some vision, clean across, allow 6Targets to push on forward a little bit more.
As we get into that final second half here, a minute and a half burned at this point, and 6Targets feels like they're moving a little bit slow. They've made some space over on the admin side, and look at this, clearing, looking, but they still have got tons of defensive utility. The trip connector's in play, the mute jammer's in, that deployable shield's still up, and look at that, cleared out and identified that the drone is there. So look, this, man, those trip connectors are just crazy, making a complete circle all the way around the inside of this. Now, that was interesting. I was wondering what would happen when the Brava drone starts stealing all of these. Gonna open up this space.
It like redirects and it switches over to the other. The Twitch drones too coming on through to take out some of those as well as take out some of the Goyo canisters as well. I don't allow 6Targets to push even that much closer. Get rid of those slowdown tools, those denial tools, those things that are going to prevent them from a nice, swift push in. They are still man down, thing to keep in mind. 35 seconds left here on the clock. The zombie barricade goes up, and a razor shotgun goes into Orion's skull. Knocks him on and down. Another one bites the dust as down goes Bailey. Down goes Zeffy. Chef and Shaz getting those two. It's all up to Nico.
No way!
One with the pistol onto a razor, but gets dropped by Chef. Jeff right on after. A good opening round in the second half coming in from Team Anios.
The way you look at that round play out, I love the fact that those trip connectors played such a significant role. I mean, they occupied a tremendous amount of time, utility, and just mental energy for the 6Targets attack to deal with. You had Brava drones in there. You had Twitch drones in there. You had operators just throwing utility through the lasers to be able to try and gain a little bit of space. And that resulted in the defense being able to swing with a shotgun and get a kill off of the attackers. That was like, it felt like more than a minute and a half solely to deal with a couple of the trick connectors in that vending hallway. Well played by Team Anios, and 6Targets is going to have to try and run this a little bit better this time around. And, you know, it was upstairs on the 2F. They're not going to run the trip connectors down here in the basement, but they are going to double up, well, we'll call it triple up, on the breach now with Cade Bandit and the Two Brow all coming out. I'm guessing that main wall is going to be definitely difficult to open.
Yeah, whenever I see the Two Brow on board, I'm just like, this wall is probably not getting open. I just know that the double combination, the Bandit trick, the Kaid trick of the Kaid, Two Brow, Bandit, Two Brow, whatever it may be, combination that they have there, just kind of creates this 100% denial unless you're throwing frags over, unless you're, you know, utilizing other options to try to sit there and flush these people out of these spots, out of these positions, maybe an IQ from the second floor, well, first floor in this instance, to try to knock them on down, to try to shoot out those Bandit batteries. It is just too much in mind that you got to be thinking and taking into account. But the Denari, we talked about it over on Chalet a little bit. We talked about, will there be a need to look into this operator a little bit more? Are they going to start getting comfortable? Pro players going to start getting more comfortable. We're going to start seeing this operator a lot more. Seeing what we saw in the last round, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. We will be seeing this operator a lot more. People will start figuring out great spots for them. More and more sites getting used. More opportunities for this operator to shine.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it's just with 7 of them, you have an awful lot of utility that the attackers need to try and figure out. Now, Look at this. I was just about to say Buck is upstairs trying to play the vertical, but does he realize that the defense had an operator upstairs? The Dokkaebi call coming out just a little bit too late. Give him some of that extra information. That was wild.
Yeah, we saw the Solars, we saw Racer just lurking around, and now it seems like 6Targets want to respond to him, do exactly that. Kin locks him on down, but look at that HP. God, and you gotta be hanging on by an edge. Don't stub your toe on anything at this point right now if your kid is able to get the cameras as well. Has one more call in pocket to be able to lock down the members of Team Anios, but man advantage evened out.
Feels like it gives you at least a little bit of a boost here to this attacking team. You take a look at how much of this floor has just been absolutely ripped apart there by Nico and the Ram. Plus, you got Zethy running the sledge. They're going to have all of the sight lines they need. That's the question. Even if they have the sight lines, can they convert that into a round win? Team Anios here. The fact that they banned out the Ying and the Grim wanted to force 6Targets into playing the fundamental strategic siege. Open up sight lines, open up the walls, try and block some of that place, some of those off. And the fact that they have got no one upstairs now to put any pressure, but they can just sit back, relax, hold onto those power positions, and force 6Targets to come to them.
Man, 3 versus 3, 3 versus 2. Zethy ends up getting one. Chef Jeff finds Kid. Now it comes down to the remaining 2 members. Zethy gets dropped by Shaz. 1 versus 3. It's up to Nico. As the R4C in hand pushes his way on forward. Gets a couple shots through, but eats a lot more. Ball of Wizardry close that one on out. Evens things back on up. 4-4 now here on map number 3.
All right, talking defensive sided Consulate at this point. The 6Targets team pulled off a 4-2 half, and then Team Anios on a bit of a roll to start this thing off. Now, it is onto the tertiary side. Best opportunity here for the 6Targets attack team to find a win. We're going to see the piano exposition room this time. They're not going to play the split side, one of my favorite things about playing out Consulate, but it is honestly a little bit more difficult to defend, especially against a team that has a well put together attack and is good at denying the intel piece of it. The defense needs to spend a lot of time trying to set that up to make sure they understand where the execute is coming and quickly reposition. So, the thing that they've been good on, though, managing that vertical play, and you can see it. After that Team Anios guys ran immediately upstairs to try and lock down this second floor.
Man, I love that split site too. Honestly, when I used to play with my staff, we used to probably hit that split site as much as possible. Something about it just felt different and really threw teams off. And if you know how to defend against that, those off sites can be devastating against an offense. Oh man, the site that we never see, that we never plan for, that we never practice for, is all of a sudden getting picked up first by a team because they just feel so confident about it. It can be so detrimental. So, we'll see how this double first floor site goes for Team Anios. If they can hold out this offensive site, they aren't going for the default cameras this time, so should get rid of some of the information potential for Team Anios.
The thing I'm shocked about at this point is 2 of them, right? Wall of Wizardry sitting 1-6 and Orion at 0-7. Those are a couple wild stats from guys who had great games previously, and it shows that the rest of the team just picking up some of that slack. And the fact that Chef Jeff, a legend in the scene, a legend in this region, only sitting at 4-6, I think feels like he has still got a little left cooking as well. And speaking of cooking, they got 2 C4s in hand, so a lot of explosives ready to dump on top of the 6Targets attack. But all 10 left alive as we're getting close to halfway through. That first minute of gameplay is burned at this point, and there it is, watching, waiting for the C4. The cam's ready. Yeah, Valkyrie's going to hit that one at the wrong time for 6Targets.
Is the chef in the kitchen? Is Orion going to strap up his belt and pull his weight on through with the team? What's going to be the outcome is going to be the big question. 6Targets, 4. Team Anios, 4. Nomad tracks right through, right next to one of the defenders, just chilling on the opposite side of the wall as the 6Targets offense. They push their way on forward and trying to lock down these members. Halfway through the round, Chef Jeff gets the opening on the Kin. Nitro rips on through, doesn't connect, but the Ash is off the board for the offense.
Wow, I thought we were going to see a swing there, but a little bit of trigger discipline, holding back, waiting. Yeah, and you can see how close these operators are. And there it is, Warden. Going to activate the glasses one more time, and there it is. But no, wait, Orion, man, as we say his name, he answers back and completely shuts down this defense into a 4-2. Crazy play.
Man, that was just a 3-man swing into 6Targets' favor. Nico gets dropped to Wall of Wizardry, though. 4 members gone for neither team. I can count. Math is really great sometimes. 4 members gone. Now, damn it. I almost tried. Wall of Wizardry gets away, and now 2 versus 2. There we go.
No
4
way.
members gone for 6Targets. Razor gets that one onto Bailey. Razor and Wall of Wizardry versus Zethy. Who's gonna pull this one on through? 15 seconds remain on the clock. Zethy has diffuser in hand, gets the plant on down over in piano. Is he gonna stick it though is the big question. Picks it up, goes for the fight instead, but is that time just gonna be too wasted? Drops one. Is a 1 versus 1 scenario. Razor on the rotate, doesn't get it. He's
wow.
it on out. Patience.
That was honestly perfectly played. The right level of aggression from the 6Targets side. You absolutely had to go for that and run at it. He wins one of those battles, and honestly, it came down to the final fraction of a second to give Team Anios the victory. 3 in a row, though, as they pull off a huge piece of momentum here that the 6Targets did at the end of the first half. Answer back. Punch, counter punch here as we get into round 10. And if you're just joining us, welcome in, everyone. Perfect time. It's been a best of 3 battle to decide who is going to the last chance qualifier for 6 Invitational here in the Oceania region. The closed qualifier awaits the winner of this match. And it was a best of 3, but it's come down to a best of 1.
Need to locate and
Bank
defuse as many bombs as they
7-4
can.
to Team Anios. Chalet 8-6 the 6Targets. Now on to that final map. And it's been a defensive-sided Consulate overall. Team Anios looking to take advantage of that as they are 1 round away from match point scenario. They've had the full round rotate done and in place. I think for 6Targets, taking away the Valkyrie. Huge play. They have been using that intel very successfully.
Oh yeah. Knock that one on down, get it on out here. I'm seeing Shaz already make his rotations on around, start renovating with that. Gonna drop one of the drones just right there. It's sitting at the top of the staircase, not gonna be allowing sort of information either. He's just getting his setup, getting his angles going. Look at this one. Geometry, my friend. Is it this rock or is it that rock? Like, this guy's got it mapped on out. This is what I'm saying. These players are going to get this idea. They're going to get, okay, this is the setup. These are the right spots that we want. These, and lock it on down on multiple sites. We're going to be seeing this Denari a whole lot more. Team Anios, they're 1 round away from that map point scenario, from that series point scenario. It is 5-4. So close right now here on map number 3.
Yeah, honestly, too close to call at this point. 6Targets has had some great runs, but it's been answered back by Team Anios. I mean, they're doing very few mistakes at this point, doing everything right. 6Targets got close, but you know, I wouldn't say again that round that they threw, but certainly they didn't close it out the way they needed to. And Team Anios just playing a little bit better as this round, as this game, as this map starts to close out. Still tons of defensive utility upstairs, and this was a big piece of why we saw the defense win back on round 7. Was a crazy amount of time spent trying to clear out these trip connectors, and feels like it's going the same way. They are still all over the board with very little real map control on the 6Targets side yet.
Push on in though. We see the members of the 6Targets starting to take that admin side control and make their way on across, try to lock down some of the members of Team Anios. So far, so good for the offense and just gaining map control. The floors to try to push people on out of areas. Have to go. We're halfway around. Look at that tripwire right in front of his face, and he's got to step right into it in order to make his way on up. He's trying to just back and forth this, trying to just throw it down. You gotta eat it nonetheless.
He hits it. Wow. just backed right into the trip connector. I mean, it stuns you, it gives away the position, it gives you the debuff for a long time. I mean, right now, Denari is very overpowered. As long as you're spending the time to get those trip connectors in the right place. And look at this. Yeah, gonna lose the drone even though he pinged out the location of it. And they're still focused on trying to clear it. You're talking about 40 seconds left, 10 players left alive in the lobby, and right now, no good answer.
Shotgun to the face, so pretty fancy boy. Razor gonna get that one onto the Deimos. Orion finds Jeff. Jeff, 1 for 1 overall. Rosalban eating a lot of damage as well. 25 seconds left here on the clock in round number 10. A Razor gets down but not out. Rosalban eliminated by Orion. Getting dropped by Wall of Wizardry. It's a 2 versus 2 scenario. Zeti's on the ground as well. Wall of Wizardry is low. Pick up this here. Zeti back up, dropped immediately.
Wow,
So
that
does
was
Nico.
it.
Shazam Wall of Wizardry, get it. 1 versus 3. Orion swings, goes on a round, gets knocked on down to Wall of Wizardry, and it's map point, series point for Team Anios.
And you said it, not just map point, series point, but now it is map point, series point, and last chance qualifier, open qualifier number 2 point. Team Anios is 1 round away from winning this completely, winning it outright, and sending themselves to the closed qualifier. Now, we have been in this position before. Back on Chalet, Team Anios was right there. 6 targets needed to be perfect for 1 to send it to overtime. They did. They sent it, and they won it in overtime. But
Defenders,
no more
protect your bombs from
opportunities,
being
no
defused by
second
attackers.
chances this time. This is it, my friend. 1 round away.
You need to be flawless right now if you're 6.
Attackers have
You gotta
located a
take this
bomb.
all the way, and then you gotta think, okay, well, we get it up there, we catch back up, and then it's an overtime scenario for 6 targets, which, granted, you did good job with that over on Chalet on our map number 2. Can you maintain that is going to be the big question, or is Team Anios going to have opportunities right now? Not only are they winning main sites on defense, they're winning the off sites as well. They get a main site right on back, they get site reset. They've had 3 in a row. They've had 4 in a row over in the second half. Do remember it was a 4-2 half for 6 targets. So right now, Team Anios are just on an absolute momentum spree, looking to keep that going.
Well, and on a defensive-sided Chalet, overall on a defensive-sided day overall, this is a significant advantage to Team Anios, and 6 targets is going to have to be incredible on defense or on attack here to try and pull it off. The last time we saw Basement was back on round 8. That was an Anios win. The 6 targets got close, unable to close it out. And you know what, we talked about Wall of Wizardry, who had been sitting at just 1 kill for the majority of this map. You know what, picked up 4 huge kills to send and really bolster his team's ability at this point. And oh no, what a way to start off map point here. They lose the Nomad, the C4 goes down. Perfectly played there by Team Anios. Man, and they still have got 2 more C4s. Everybody bringing secondary explosives. They want to blow this map up.
Yeah, oh no, it's definitely a really good one. Just to say right there. Yeah, nice. You got your gun on the ground. A little lovely. He's got another nitro. Same spot. Waiting. Oh no, sorry. Wrong side. I can't see which side of the map we're on. This whole siege game sometimes. Watching the pillars. They're holding down garage. Wall's still electrified. Still sealed up. 6 targets. Got to push around from a different way. Realizing they can't breach through this. They've got to buck open the floor. Another whiff of a nitro. Not going to connect either on the piano. 6 targets. They are a man down scenario. Wall does get popped on open. Is it too little, too late? A minute 15 left here on the clock.
They're certainly moving very slow. I mean, you have vertical assets in play, both the Buck and the Deimos. I mean, they still have got throwable. They've got 3 of those, 3 of the nades. I mean, they should be pushing this significantly harder. I know they're trying to be cautious, but that was not winning them games. 54 seconds left. You still have got 9 left alive in this lobby. The man advantage now in a big way for Team Anios.
Consulate gets one under Orion, immediately traded on out by Zeti. 3 versus 4 scenario, but it comes down to this, the final 40 seconds. Man down. Down goes the Deimos, down goes Bailey. Shaz gets that pickup. It's Nico and Zethi versus the world, versus the 4 remaining members of Team Anios. Push on in, Diffuser picked on up. Zethi runs to the pillar, goes for the default. Nico's down.
Oh no!
Gets that pickup. Zethi can be seen, gets shot. Damage in, damage done. And that's gonna put it away. Chef closes it on out. Team Anios are moving on.
Wow. What an ending. Best of 3 finale here, and Team Anios comes up big when they needed to. They lost that momentum on Chalet as 6Targets found a way to win. They could not pull off the same magic on map 3, and that, my friend, is the end of the open qualifier for OCE. Man, congratulations to Team Anios for picking up a big win today. And now they face Man LFO in that closed qualifier. It's a best of 1 to send one of those 2 teams to the APL closed qualifier. So many regions, so many games, but it is the end of the road, unfortunately, for 6Targets. You guys put up a hell of a game, and you had some fans in the chat. We appreciate you being here on the Siege Double Shot, joining us for that game. And I don't know whether it's early or whether it's late, my friend.
No, I don't know, but one thing I do know is we came in, we saw Bank, we saw how that was going, and I was a little bit worried for 6Targets, but they proved us wrong throughout the second half of Chalet, throughout all of map number 3. I want to say 6Targets, they fought, they conquered, they did a really great job. They just could not close it on out, but they pulled things together. They finished 3rd in LCQ 1, and they put on a dominant performance right here in LCQ 2. There's a lot of little things that could just clean up. But I think once they do, this is going to be a very dominant roster, and this is a roster that's sticking together, that wants to put in that work. This is what this tells me.
Yeah, I think so too. And we talked about it. It's a known team out there. I mean, 6Targets, this Australian esports organization that is looking to make a name for themselves, but it's not going to be this time. It's not the end of the road, though. We do have Challenger Series coming up in March. But all roads lead to the 6th Invitational in Paris coming up here in February. And now we've nailed one more team down. So again, big congratulations to Team Anios. And thanks to Ubisoft, thanks to Blast for allowing the Siege Double Shot to cast these SI LCQ games. We will be back for the North America LCQ starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And just about, man, like 7.5 hours from now. It's been a long day. We pulled off almost 8 hours of Siege today between the AGL and the SI LCQs and OCE. Happy to have everybody here with us, and thanks again, Zach, for filling in for Whiskey Glitter. Much appreciated having you on, my friend.
That was super awesome. It was a great time, and honestly, great Siege. I did not think this was going to go to map 3. I was like, yeah, sure, let's hop on. Let's do a nice little, 2 maps. No, these guys, they gave us great Rainbow Six Siege, great cast to watch, great game to cast, and I couldn't ask for anything better. I really appreciate the offer, really appreciate being here.
Yeah, thanks you, and thanks again to everybody in the community for coming out and joining us for the cast. Much appreciated. And we will see you again back here on the channel 1 p.m. later today Eastern Time. So good luck to all the teams that are fighting for their spot in the closed qualifiers. But that's the end of it for us, my friend. And we always say, you know what? That's Glitter's half of the statement. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, you can't stay here. Let's go, my friends.